Yes.
Do we have other people on the Zoom as well?
2 people, yes.
Okay, great. All right, time is 6:04 on Thursday, September 28th. This meeting started. Present, we have Mac, Johanna, Will, myself, Kathy, John, and of course our treasurer. Also in attendance are Patty and Jennifer. First order of
Sean
business.
has a name.
Sorry, Sean, our treasurer.
It bothered me at all, just don't know where that came from. Anyway,
All right, so we established our quorum. Approval of prior minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review the previous
Yes,
minutes?
and I say that we cannot approve them.
Okay, what change would you like to make?
The fact that it says here, under new business, that, the employee agreement, the agreed, the contract would be finalized and signed before the 15th. Then we didn't even be looking at my emails, there were, the contract was not even made available for review until September the 5th. So it was not approved and such, so.
I think it's said that we had agreed to it. That was reference to another meeting that was there was gonna be agreement that whatever approval was gonna become, it wasn't actually a motion to approve, it was just to bring it up. To note it, that that it's supposed to be to come. I don't know if it's very clearly, we can editize that.
Okay,
as-
because it says agreed to the, as
It was-
I read this,
yeah.
it says,
Let's-
we agreed to the employment contract and it will be finalized. To me, that reads that you agreed to the employment agreement as is, so
So
I would
employee,
not.
employee agreements were sent out by Tom to the entire HOA committee on
But there was
the
no,
5th.
Yes, September the 5th.
well, there was no motion, and you said there was, when I asked Tommy, there was not to be a motion, it was just to put a comment there. And that's why it was just put as a comment.
Are you talking about for tonight?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the minutes, but they can be, the minutes can be edited to reflect better of that, what was intended, that is not a motion, but comment that we are to receive a contract at a later date, which is to be done by 15th, we can update that.
Okay, because like I said, the way I read that was, and because the recording of the August meeting was not available to review, it's not up.
I've never
It's not.
transmitted, I don't know how to do that part of it.
I could not review the meeting to see what
Okay,
things
so-
that,
On the employee contract at the HOA meeting, this is when we decided which CAM we were gonna hire. We had a few CAMs to pick from, and it was hire various different CAMs we interviewed or retain Patty with the agreement that she put forth. And the board decided this is to keep Patty with the agreement that she had. So that's why the agreement, and then the agreement was signed, and now we've retained them for employment.
okay,
Does that
well,
make sense?
That's what that was meant to
okay,
explain.
well, that's not how it's worded, and that's
Okay,
not
do you-
how, I would not. As the way this is worded is not how I would agree to these minutes.
How do you want to word it? Do you? And then, so this way you understand, because that was.
Do you want to
You
word it
guys-
just like I just said it?
I was gonna say, you could word it just the way that Mark said it, that's fine.
Okay,
All right, we'll
So-
get together and we'll reword that.
and if there's no other request, we'd approve it with the change of wording to that one.
Yeah, that's the only change that I would make unless somebody else had an issue. Yeah, I was gonna say, I would, until final changes are made, so we'd have to.
All right, do you want to approve conditionally with that change? Or do you want to word it?
I will second that motion if you would.
I will wait, but
Well,
All right, let's take a vote. Motion to approve the minutes with the change Kathy wants as I worded it, and you seconded it.
yes,
Do we have any ayes? One,
Aye.
2, 3, 4, 5 ayes. And a nay?
nay,
You want to see it finalized? Okay.
yes,
The ayes carry it, but I promise you we will word it as such and get it in.
thank you.
All right, approval of problems. Treasurer's report is next. Sean, sir.
Just hand out the overview as usual on most of what we've talked about in the budget meetings, talked about these numbers, and money starting to, accumulate because we at the end of the year.
So, before we go any further, are we not going to get a seventh member of the board?
That is.
Treasurer's report is now.
Do you have that?
And
That'll be new business.
we can, I think that'll be new business. It's not on the agenda for tonight, nobody, we can discuss it. But right now, let's do the treasurer.
Well, the only reason I say that is because we are voting on things, and so we would need a seventh member to vote.
Well, we're not gonna.
We don't
do seven
need a
members
seven
today.
members to vote, yeah. The board can be up to 7 members. And if we get a stalemate, then we get a stalemate. It's still, whether you have 6 or 7 members, the majority is still 4 votes.
All right.
Please, Sean, continue.
Everybody's in front of me, it's the same format as previously, so you're seeing, actual physical balances as of about 4 o'clock today. Receivables as of 4 o'clock today, all of this done just a little while ago, and then, you'll see, starting to see the prepaid assessments go down because we've actually been trying to make sure that people aren't overpaid at the end of the year like they were last year and have to refund a whole bunch of money at the end of the year, so, these are pretty accurate at the moment. The only liabilities we have on here at this point are the 2 that we've been talking about in workshops for the master, which is the Park Square and the associate plans. Everything else is paid in full up to the moment. So everyone else is starting to gain some money. You can see we've got operating funds for just about everybody here. There's a typo in the sage that I just noticed. It's got an extra digit in there, but it's everyone has money to spend at the moment. I'll make that correction on here and tell you the numbers you can write it in. But that's kind of where we're at. We've got quite a bit of funds we've already slated in this particular board meeting to spend 62,000 of the 95 you see in the master. Sand Harbor Crest is obviously because of the overage to start with. The only one that's tight is Westlake. At the end of the year, we'll have enough to do the mulch, and they'll come out pretty close to even.
My concern is under the receivables. Does that not have to do with past dues?
It's actually been increasing. Our best month was in July, and we've increased a couple $1,000 the last couple of months. It's still very good compared to what it used to be, but we're seeing some increases there. One thing I did notice is that we have 14 in collections, but when I looked at the last collection report, there were a bunch that had not been added to collections that should be at this point. There should be somewhere in the area around 20 that were in collections, and I was told that Melissa didn't add them for some reason.
I think she just added them. I think she just
They're not
added.
out in the system as of today.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can look into that.
So we had some that didn't actually happen. I don't know what the reason was. They just didn't get put into collections. So
Yeah, can we make sure that that is updated?
I gave the report on the 16th or
That's
17th.
at polio correction, right?
No,
No. It needs
it's
to.
reconciled against Melissa's list.
Okay.
Melissa gets a list each month of who's in collection, what the status is on.
Got it.
We did have one resolved that was an old nemesis one that's supposed to be posting at some point. I don't think I've seen it come in yet, but we'll take one of those 14 off the list.
Got it.
Is
We'll
that-
let you know
is
the
that
21,000 again. I keep
Yes.
saying this, we have
Oh,
one member that occupies a third of that.
And where do we stand with him?
is
Do we
he,
know?
I just asked the question, is he the one that was the largest number,
Yes,
thousands of dollars?
yes.
Is that
It's
the one that paid the
7,000
full?
change, yeah.
Was that the one that
No,
paid it?
No, he's still in receivable.
So we haven't got that.
No,
We
they don't
haven't
receive that as a gift.
It's cleared. They hold it for 30 days at the attorney's office and then it's sent us.
So he's agreed to it, we just haven't received it.
He's paid it. Yes.
So it should come off the books this coming month with all goes well.
Perfect. That's good. Then that was the one that was a third.
Correct.
Okay.
Excellent.
Anything else to report?
Not the one.
Thanks, sir. Officers, let's see, officers' reports. I have nothing particular to report. Anyone else? Insignificant to report. community managers report. Matt, are you gonna read that for us?
I will read it.
Thanks.
You're the head page today, so I want to.
Tommy is online, just so everybody knows. He's at a fine, so he is available if anything comes up.
Okay, board meeting September 28th, at the Lake House Management Report. A new tree trimming company has quoted the dead wood and tree removal of 5 near the Lake House playground. This has been accepted and a deposit was sent to the company for permitting. Once this has the permit, we will schedule the work to be done. Management will be closing the playground for that period of time. The annual meeting call for candidates went out to the community with only 2 currently. Friday, this writing, have sent their candidates statement. The meet the candidates night is scheduled for 10 October. And once again, that's the annual meeting call for candidates went out to the community with only 2 currently as of Friday at this writing. Right? The 2024 budget workshops have been extremely informative and appreciated from the community and management. Thank you, Sean, for having all this available. Sandpiper Crest Townhomes had the new shredded brown mulch installed. Paired Villas, the landscapers have been working on Saturday to remove the mulch in the plant beds. This seems to be going quicker than planned and could be done within 2 weeks. The new mulch has been ordered and should be installed before Thanksgiving weekend. The first exterior hydro-wise timer is being installed Wednesday, 27 September, as a trial for the electrician for quoting the rest of the PV homes. Sagewood was pressure washed September 18 to 21 with minimal complaints. The tree company did a walk of the trees on the watch list, and as of now, there are not any concerns. There will be another inspection within 6 months, in about 6 months. Pool maintenance. The pool toilets have been needing repair. The family bathroom has a leak on the handle. The handicap toilet is not flushing correctly, needs flushing 2 or 3 times to complete the cycle. I've asked for a price for all of the replacement toilets to be have this done at once and for a separate quote for single installations. This should be on the board packet, and I think it is new business today. Security patrol. The security patrol reports are available for all to see if requested. There have been multiple events where the patrols have helped with returning lost bikes and items left in the community, and the constant people in the fitness room are not authorized. Social items, the deposit for the rock climbing wall has been paid. The signs have been ordered for the fall festival. The festival is scheduled on October 14th. This is also the same day of the community yard sale, so this should encourage more people to attend the fall festival. Valjanic LLP is preparing for the next step in the testing of the builder defect suit. I've asked them to come to meet with the board for updates and possibly attend the annual meeting for informational insight for the community. Collections. Mankin Law Group has been working diligently with 11 people in collections. The property that the board approved to accept payments from has lapsed. She told the Mankin Law Group she lost her job and doesn't have the income to pay. Melissa Mankin and I discussed to start the foreclosure process. It was then found that the property is in bank foreclosure currently. At this time, we'll wait to see for that to happen, and then association lien could be paid. There is another outstanding case that Patty is waiting for the update from the attorney Brandon from Mankin Law Group for the judgment from the court case on August 22nd, 2023.
That's the one we just spoke about.
Right, and then the last one is I have reached out to George for an update on the settlement for offer for associate fees. So that concludes the comments.
Thanks, sir. Pat, any additional notes or corrections?
Let me see.
I did hear he said that they will be installed, or the one test case for the sprinkler will be installed, and it was installed.
It was installed yesterday, yes. And I have pictures of what it looks like and prices and everything.
All right.
Is that going to be hardwired or is it not?
We have the option of either. The one that we did yesterday is not.
Okay.
He was going back again today because I have prices for Soulflex hardwired.
Good.
So it's like after the fact.
And any other corrections to the committee report?
No,
Okay, thank you. Trying to find the community manager's report. Okay, committee reports are next.
There's an item on, new business that's part of the committee report, just kind of combine those two if you don't mind.
If you want to jump in, yeah, go ahead.
we talked about this a little bit at the workshop. The swale project is still, of course, pending and looming around in our community. We got on the 22nd, Ballinger made a quote for doing the irrigation. At our last meeting, we had 12 attending, and several people didn't feel that they wanted to spend money on everyone else's sod. So we talked about just doing the irrigation as a special assessment. The quote came in a little over $50,000, which means about $1,000 per household on a special assessment if 50% of homeowners approve that. So at this point, haven't done a presentation. It's been kind of short time in 6 days here. So I will do a presentation with them and show them the results. The sod is coming with, I've got sawdust, and also Sunrise gave me a quote at $1.25 a square feet at about $100,000 for the whole area to do the sod correctly. Since then, there's probably been 3 additional homes that have done their own irrigation and sod, so those quotes obviously get changed a little bit when we get to that point. There have been some others that have inquired about doing so. Mind you, that John had asked this at the workshop, but everything outside the sidewalks belongs to the HOA, not the county, in our neighborhood. If you look at those street signs, our street signs are blue, yours are green, the blue signs are private streets.
Including the streets.
Yes, so all that belongs to the HOA, and the reason that we have a pavement reserve. In addition to that, I mean, with that being said, that the irrigation would also include some of the budget that we have to do irrigation on the 4th island that doesn't have irrigation at the moment, with the exception of the water meter. So all that will be included in that irrigation price. It's probably a little ways away before I get everyone to agree or disagree, but as soon as I do, I'll report to the board, and the board can make a decision on this.
Thanks. Any other committee reports? Right.
I could throw one in. Finance, not the finance committee, but the election committee, we had just a conversation, nothing more. But they're inclined to use the same questions that we did the last meeting that I put in that stupid random generator. This time I'll compensate for people not showing up. If we get to that stage, if we only have two applicants by the time that we close for there's no election anyway, we just take the seats and look out. So but we'll see what happens between now and then. We're planning on doing it on the 10th, and we'll do the same thing we did the last time.
Very well. New business. I know we have George on the line right now, correct? Do we want to jump to
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
George, you
Go
wanna-
ahead.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, George, how are you?
Have it on the agenda.
Doing well.
Okay.
You guys were talking about officer vacancies earlier. While I was sitting here, I pulled up the governing documents. There's permissive language used in the bylaws in section 3.5. And so essentially the board may appoint a successor to fill the remainder of the term, but it's not mandatory language. So, I mean, it's the board's prerogative. And you certainly don't have to cease functioning because there's a vacancy. You can, obviously, if you have an odd number, you have less chance that you'd have that you'd have an impasse if you don't have that extra vote to break an impasse. Anyway, I haven't gotten an update on the Associa issue yet. Matthew Bryan, the attorney for Associa, has still not gotten back to me. I followed up several times. I'll follow up again before I leave tonight, just to kind of, put the ball in his court. I mean, I think it's a good thing that it's taken them a while to make a decision on our offer. Certainly the longer it drags on, the more they run into a statute of limitations issue. I don't think it'll take that long, but anyway. I think the purpose of having me here tonight, the Baljanik folks were not able to make it tonight. I know Nick is out of the country right now. I think you wanted some updates on the status of the construction defect investigation. They previously conducted the visual inspection, mainly comprising Sagewood, the villas, and Sandpiper. I read the CERTA report, and I believe most of the items that they identified had to do with stormwater drainage around the association in several areas, and the stucco and building envelope issues on the townhomes. Typically in this process, as you get further down the line, you have a membership vote to approve litigation, and the threshold is a majority of a quorum. To approve litigation, that's a requirement under 720. Any litigation involving potentially more than 100K in claims, you need membership approval, and the approval mechanism in the statute is a simple majority of a quorum. How many ever members show up at a meeting with quorum? You need a majority of those to vote in favor of the litigation. Very rarely do I see associations not get the vote. I am not sure whether Balgenic would recommend more extensive or deconstructive testing before the litigation vote or after the vote. Typically, after you get the approval, you start the 558 notice process, and it's essentially a letter you send out to the developer, all the subcontractors, anybody involved in the project that they're aware of, letting them know that there's potential claims. They send the report along with the 558 notice, and then it's a period of time, I believe about 3 to 4 months, where both parties can go out there and inspect the property together. It gives the developer a chance to offer to fix the issues or to settle the case. Most of the time, the 558 process does not resolve all the claims. There's usually at least a few claims left that may proceed on to litigation. And that's the basic 20,000 foot view of a construction defect case. I'm not a construction defect attorney, but I do co-counsel with construction defect attorneys for several of my associations when they have CD claims. I'm currently involved with probably half dozen of them right now. A few of them do involve Balgenic. Do you have any specific questions about the process for me?
When you say that we have to have a quorum, is this quorum just from each community? So it would be Sandpiper in addition to Villas, or does it need to be the community?
I'm going to want to confer with Balgenic on that. I've taken the position in other communities that you would need to seek approval from the entire community, not just the affected sub-association. So that's something we're going to have to put our heads together and make a determination and discuss with you. I had another community that I did recently where it was about 75% single family, 25% townhome. And, we took the position that the safest bet was to get the vote from the entire community. The statute certainly doesn't parse out whether only affected sub-associations have to vote in favor. I mean, there's a reading of the statute that would require us to go to the entire membership, but I'll consult with Balgenic and they'll make that call and make a recommendation to you. You certainly would have a good faith argument, I think, and that the affected communities, that you could get away with just getting the vote of the affected communities.
Right.
Oftentimes it can be hard to get the single family buy-in if, it's not affecting them. So the building envelope issues are exclusive to those 3 townhome communities that I cited, but your stormwater drainage issues around the common area amenities and any other common area amenities issues ties in the single family as well. So you'll probably have an easier time getting the litigation vote than if there were solely just issues with the townhomes.
Do we have photos of these areas that are the CERTA report?
I haven't seen it. So
George, this is Kathy. We have photos of the affected areas that you're just discussing?
Yes, the CERTA report has several photos. They start on about page 7 of the report, and many of them are the townhomes. I'm scrolling down now as I'm talking to get to the common area, but
And this report is available there.
there's roughly 68, 67 pages of photos, 2 or 3 photos with descriptions of the construction defect issue on them. Somewhere around 32, 33, you get some more of the common area drainage issues. They've got pictures of some of the, I'm just, sorry, excuse me, I'm scrolling through. Some of the pictures show the storm drainage issues.
And has Patty received a copy of this so that we could see these photos?
I believe that the CERTA report has been provided, but I'm not sure. That would be a question for Baljanik. I know they got it to me so that I could prepare for the meeting, but I don't know if they've gotten it to you yet.
I'll reach out to them tomorrow and then share it with the board.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys have any other questions about general counsel issues or the construction defect issues?
Doesn't. Anxious to get going on
Do you want to, can you hang out for a few more minutes? George, can you hang out for a few more minutes?
Oh, yes. I thought you were asking them if they wanted me to hang out for a few more
Okay.
minutes. No, I apologize. Yes, I can be here for a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move on to the next item. Keeping George on the line here. So there's a motion. So admin note. Reading Robert's Rules of Order in order to keep things moving. Let's say I come up with the most ridiculous thing and I want to discuss it and it's on the agenda. I don't know, I'm gonna buy a giraffe for the HOA. And I would say, I'd like to make a motion to buy a giraffe for the HOA. If nobody seconds it, then we don't discuss it and we don't waste people's time. And it's to save all of your time. So that's kind of how I see us moving forward into the new years. I would encourage everyone to get familiar with how Robert's Rules of Order work and read them. Parliamentary process, that kind of thing. So with that being said, the motion is to approve Tommy to handle all the HOA's IT. He will do this at no charge as a volunteer. And he'll have keys to access required areas and a debit card with a spending allowance of $500 approved by the CAM for purchases for IT. That is the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Joanna seconds it. Now open for discussion.
I totally disagree with that.
Okay.
First of all, I would not, I also understand he wants to have a debit card given to him. I would never give any of my vendors a debit card. We would have to, they would have to provide a proposal of what items that they want to purchase. I also feel that it is a conflict of interest for him to be reporting to the CAM after he had just signed reported employee agreement. So I think that that's a bad idea.
Thank you, ma'am. Other comments on the matter?
No objection. I think he's done a good job with IT. We could always revoke if necessary.
Plus you need a system.
You know, the system.
Matt,
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, I understand what Kathy was saying, and in some ways I do agree, nothing personal, Tommy, I think the world of them. But, so I guess if he needs a debit card, he can always get one, if he can. And use it as necessary, as opposed to the CAM going out and buying something.
Mhm.
I think that's why we're doing it, right? He knows the technology, he knows what we need to do. And he's not allowed to use it unless the CAM approves it, correct, if I'm reading
Yes.
this? So either checks and balances are there. So I don't have a problem necessarily with it. I guess one question might be, what is, from a budgetary perspective, it's $500, but that's per repair that we approve. So what is the cap? What is our annual, how do we budget for that line item of IT support?
I can inject here. Whether you realize or not, most equipment that you purchase has not been purchased except what you need.
Right, I understand.
Because I'm the one with wholesale. And ubiquity can be purchased online. It doesn't require Tommy any of the replacement equipment. To do that, any vendor normally would send a submit an expense and we pay the bill, which is the typical way of doing this. Having a debit card just means that, we could go $500 per incident per time, and we could have a whole bunch of money we didn't budget for. So it's easier to try to make sure that it's in that approval process. As far as the system goes, there are 150,000 people who know ubiquity systems in just the state of Florida. So it's not something that's unique to Atomic.
Do you recall what we budgeted next year for IT?
We didn't budget in IT because we talked about what we were going to do with the extra money.
Mhm.
We've gone through great lengths of making sure there's no volunteer labor, including labor that I've been providing, that's going to probably cost us $4,000 a month next year to do what I do. So if we keep doing that and we keep putting, what happens if something happens to Tommy? So Tommy, I keep getting on doing things. So I basically am trying to take that lead and say, let's hire a third party. You're in control of it. You can fire them if they're not doing the job. You can certainly replace them with a better contract down the road. It's something that we talked about what to do with the security budget. There's security involved in the cameras, there's security involved in the entrance system. That's all part of the security system.
Thank you. John, do you have any comments?
Well, I can actually see both ways.
Mhm.
I'm a little curious about why we're using a debit card instead of a credit card. That puts a cap on it, a little bit more of a cap on it.
So I can control the spending on any card, debit or from the bank statements. That's that the type of cards are important, I think.
Anyone else?
So, it does, the main thing I see is the conflict of interest of having a person in the community. Sort of having I mean, Tom has been instrumental in putting the system together. Since he's passed over from being a board member to being more of a vendor, I think we need to look at some sort of agreement about resolving us from issues that we may have around mistakes he's made that we may get caught up in. I'm a little bit concerned about him having access to everybody's key fobs and everything. Kind of like the key to the kingdom. So I think there's some loose ends that perhaps need to be tied down a little bit better. But outside of that, I think working toward the possibility that we're going to get another person in to support him, so that when he rotates off, we've got some third party out there that already knows the system as much as he's worked with Tommy. Cost us a little bit more, but Tommy's volunteering for us, so we'll send us some money so we can get this other person.
Yeah, like a follow-up comment? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if that's Robert rules, but yeah, I see both sides. And I think perhaps this is a good transition. We don't have a prepared plan to have the third party take over. I absolutely do agree with trying to professionalize the support functions so that the board members are depending on who the board members come on, as long as they track and follow, we won't always have the technology expertise that we had on the last board and remaining as an officer. So I think that it's a good bridge. That's my bottom line, but I think we should in some way formalize it a little bit and then perhaps look at it next year, since we haven't put it in the budget. It's not something we want to, but we should put a space holder in there
Yeah,
for
should.
what we're going to be spending. You know, just an estimate of maintenance where we think we're going to need to maintain. So I just want to clarify that I'm generally in support of it with reservations. I think that's kind of what you were saying.
My 3 comments on this would be, to your comment on file access, we could make it so that Tommy can't approve or disapprove file permissions that solely rely on Jennifer or Patty, and take that out of his hands. We could remove that permission from his administrative access. As far as, I think it's a great idea to draft up an agreement with him, some sort of contractual obligation, specifically outlining that he's not being compensated for his time. Also, to your point, I think it's a great idea that we do have him log the hours that he volunteers So that way, when we come to the budget season, we know, okay, this year we needed 750 hours of IT support for 1 year. Let's look at that for the next year, and get some quotes on how much that would cost. Is Tommy online? Okay, so we have Tommy I want to go to, and he can talk about what support he would provide. And then I want to talk to George about if he sees, to Kathy's point, a conflict of interest in hiring someone in the community to do, or not hiring, but having someone volunteer in the community to do work for the HOA. Recommendations on who we should hear from first. Tommy, I agree. Tommy, are you there?
Hi guys, how are you?
Even Tommy?
Yeah, you can hear me? All right, good. Okay, a couple things, just got a little, I think, overstretched off topic here. Okay, IT, first thing. No, I'm not gonna log my hours. It's a pain in the ass. Here's the thing, if you guys want an IT guy, a third party, you can get one right now and you can afford it. I promise you, if you were to budget roughly somewhere between $400 and $500 a month for labor costs, no additional projects, just general maintenance, my computer's down, this, that, and the other, you can afford just about anything. I've also set up all the systems at Fishhawk Ranch West, so any seasoned qualified IT guy can jump in and take over immediately at any given time. So you are ready for that if you choose to. My offering is to continue to do work for free for you guys, at least my labor of work for free, without any difficulties to myself. For instance, over the weekend, I'm fixing stuff at the dog park, right? I can't fix the project because I need to go to Lowe's and get $20 or $30 worth of parts. If I don't have a debit card, I'm not doing it. And if I'm doing it for free, I'm not budgeting it from Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So I'm just trying to make life easy and slip line to get these little projects done as they're needed, or to get maintenance done as they're needed, or even bigger projects as we assign. We may take on a larger project. We say, okay, we need a petty fund cash flow for it. You assign X amount of dollars for petty fund. And I would draw based on that on any hardware store runs, cameras, whatever the case may be. I'm just trying to make that life easy and cheap. But I wanted just the board to understand that you can go with a third party now. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't want to hold you back from that option. I don't know if there are any other specifics I heard there that I can address. If anyone has any questions for me in more detail, let me know.
Questions for the volunteer IT guy?
Well, I would say I appreciate all the work that you've done, and I appreciate the offer, and I support it. But however long you're able to do it, I don't know how long you're planning or thinking that you will. That's kind of my question.
Sure.
But
one other issue with the idea of hour logging, folks. A lot of IT companies, you can't go to them and say, hey, we need 750 hours for the year. What do you charge us? Most IT companies go, you know what, we'll fix your one-time problem, break fix for $150 an hour, 2-hour minimum per on-site visit. That's your typical go-to contract, right? You want an MSP and all you can eat, they're going to look at you and they're going to, okay, a place like this will start at $1,000 a month, 2-year contract, 1 month at a time. So you're running the mills of what you're going to get, right?
yeah, yeah, that's pretty typical.
Right. George, do you see a problem with us having Tommy volunteer his services to support the HOA's IT requirements?
I do not. The conflict of interest provisions in 617, which is the non-for-profit organization corporation act, which you are one of those, and 720, the HOA Act, mainly pertains to a current board member who is potentially going to be a vendor and going to make money off the contract, and or a family member running that company. And even that's allowable if you jump through the right hoops, i.e. disclose in your meeting notice, minutes, agenda of the potential conflict, the conflict of director, abstaining from voting on the contract, but doing it in a volunteer manner when they're not even on the board anymore is not a conflict under the statute. So I'm not aware of any statutory or governing document provisions that would prevent you from moving forward. However, if you do hire him on a volunteer basis, I would recommend to make sure that he is covered by your insurance policies, that you've got workers' comp coverage, that kind of stuff for him in the event that he gets hurt on the job or otherwise, you want coverage for that. And you may want to have him sign a waiver of some sort.
I do have a hold harmless on file, George, with myself and the HOA
Gotcha.
from a couple.
I would definitely want to
couple
talk
years
to your carrier to make sure what kind of coverages you could get to protect yourself in the event something happened to him and while he's doing work.
So what's happening? That's good.
All right. Let's say what we have a waiver. I don't see why not.
Some of the things you mentioned about restricting his access could mean taking him off as a super admin. So that would have to be done too, then someone else would have to become the super admin.
Roger. Okay.
You also want to make sure, I mentioned workers' comp, you're also going to want to make sure that whatever he does in the position is covered by your general liability policy as well, just in case somebody else gets hurt when he's, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing I would say is, I think you mentioned a bridging capability.
I,
With the ultimate intent of, yes, bringing on a full-time professionalized IT service.
or some kind of support, if Tommy doesn't want to do it, he's volunteering, he's built the system,
Yeah.
so he's done so much for the community, but he may get to the point where he can't do it or something, so we just need to be prepared for a transition.
I do not
Okay.
disagree.
Can I add one more thing, folks, to that? If I get hit by a bus tomorrow or move and quit, the reality is, you go to adamsnetworkservices.com. That's my partner's full-fledged company. He'll take over it at cost. He charges $150 an hour per every 2 hours of visit, 2-hour minimum. That's where I get these prices from. I've always left it so that if I ever did leave, you guys would have a great and probably a price reduced option because he's out of Apollo Beach. You might even do it for a little less, but the point is you would have a good option there that he knows and understands all the systems we install there, because that's what I do for a living with them.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Obviously, before we hire anybody, we go through the whole bid process, hire a couple bids.
Yeah.
Gives us time to do it, if we need to do it.
All right. Any other board comments? No board comments.
I
Okay.
was gonna
that's-
say, Will hasn't said anything.
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, he made a comment.
All right. All in
between them.
Go ahead.
All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Why?
Aye. Nay.
Nay.
You're opposed?
Nay.
All right, so that's 5 in favor, 1 opposed. Duly recorded, the motion passes.
I know with the ATM card, this has already been deactivated, the day after he was on.
Mhm.
Also the credit card that the item's name is deactivated, the day after he was on. So the, my preference is, you can certainly get another ATM card, there's spending limits on it, you can do that anytime you want. I think that should be open for discussion at some point, but I would prefer to maybe even do what you said, a petty cash account instead.
All right, we can work out the detail on that. Next up,
Are we good with George?
We did pass
So do we
the,
need George?
do we need to do anything with this item of the employee agreement, or is that, I know we passed.
do we need George for that? I was trying to hit the things that we needed George for, so we can.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just, didn't want to.
I don't know. I mean, he has a copy of them. I don't have a copy of them.
Okay.
It's not even a motion. It's just the ratification that.
It's an acknowledgement that we hired Patty as the CAM. It's a public acknowledgement that we hired Patty as the CAM and that we entered into an employment agreement with.
And Jen.
And
And her husband. Jen.
Actually, no. There are things on these agreements. First of all, there's errors on yours. That
I didn't-
Kathy, with all due respect, I respect you and your ability to review contracts. These were reviewed, they were put to the board for a month or so to review, and George reviewed them, and they've been signed. So
they
they're-
were only signed by first of all, they were signed by one officer. It requires 2 officers. And it should have been voted on by the board prior to this officer signing. You cannot do a vote by email on a contract. for our bylaws.
So it was done in a closed meeting, a personnel closed meeting is when we voted to hire Patty with the accompanying contract.
What closed meeting was that?
What closed meeting was that?
This was the personnel meeting that we had.
I was not part of that, nor was I aware of that.
Also, I'm pretty sure the closed meeting we had went over 13-point list, but the contract was not in front of us, it was pending. Is that correct?
Okay, so how do we solve this problem?
We can put forth a motion to approve the agreement, if we want to rectify it that way, and. Yes, we can do that, and then, if we want to follow up and have, a different signing, we can do that as well, but that would be my recommendation, if that is gonna be a contention.
It's a big contention.
So. I believe the contract was voted on while we were in Hawaii. I think that is the correct answer.
When, at what meeting?
At what meeting? It has to be a in-person meeting.
The only reason I say is I didn't get a copy of it, not that I have to have a vote, but
Right,
it
that's
basically,
right,
basically,
that's right,
I'm sorry,
that's right. I don't believe you got a copy.
that's correct, did not. So I'm not aware that I was being asked about wages increase and so forth, as per contract, which I don't have any knowledge of.
So you held a physical meeting when I was in
Let's
Hawaii.
go back and review, because you were, let's see.
Yes, we had a closed door meeting. No, that I was told that because it was a closed door meeting, minutes were not required to be recorded for the closed door meeting to be posted to the public.
Yeah, we had quorum,
Why was it a closed door meeting, by the way?
because it's a personnel issue.
That's not
That's
required.
not required.
As of 2022, the 720 changed. Personnel issues are allowed to be discussed in public and should be.
There was multiple issues at that meeting.
There were multiple issues of discussion, yes.
So that was,
Of legal nature or
yes,
disciplinary action for an employee. Those are the only two things you can close a meeting for.
We have the lawyer online. Should we consult with him?
I'm pulling up the statute now so that I can read it to you verbatim what it says.
And if so, then ask for guidance as to way to move forward.
That's the best answer. Let's see what it says, right? I'm saying, I think it says this, I know it says that.
So it's 72303 section 2B. Meetings between the board or a committee and the association's attorney to discuss proposed or pending litigation, or meetings of the board held for the purpose of discussing personnel matters are not required to be open to the members other than directors.
okay, fair.
So it's only open to the director, so it was done correctly.
Yes.
Second, let me double check because the 2022 changed.
Then-
So
What version is that?
the motion is-
George,
So-
what version is that? Because
2023.
2023.
It's my understanding that the salaries and wages and contracts are not part of the personnel issues.
It doesn't parse it out any more than saying meetings of the board held for the purpose of discussing personnel matters are not required to be open to the members other than directors. Now, if you want me to do a couple hours of research, maybe there's an arbitration case out there that gets more specific, but the statute itself doesn't. And if there was a change to this statute this session, I seriously doubt that there's any arbitration opinions or court cases on point already, a couple of months in.
Thank you. Did we actually vote on this in that meeting, by the way,
Technically, yes, there was a call vote.
for this contract?
for this contract specifically,
To pursue the contract with us.
The points of agreement were in there. It's just, and then it was.
Let's have a vote now.
Okay, let's do that.
so you understand, okay. You have all read this contract and understood what this contract says. i.e. that if either one of these ladies, we fire these ladies, either one before their contract ends, we have to pay them out their contract.
Yes, I
You
understand.
understand?
Yes.
That was
So you've given them a golden parachute.
No, if
Yes,
they're fired for cause, if they are fired due to poor performance, then that's a different story.
no, you have given them a golden parachute.
Is it, I don't have the contract in front of me, but does it say in there that they can be fired for cause? I believe I remember that, but
Yeah,
I'm saying I don't have it here. You have it in front of you.
I do have.
We have the lawyer here. So,
The-
yeah, so I think, yes, based on that. You know, we're saying we want them to support the community for a 2-year period of time. But of course, if there is cause, then. We have the ability, that's not a golden parachute, that is it's a good contract, but why would we not give them it?
Let's go through it. I'm gonna ask a question. If you did read it, can you maybe give me a little bit of heads up on it? So in the termination clause, it states that the.
Is this a financial related question?
Sure it is.
Okay, wait,
But that a budget 2 years for the salary to let somebody go.
we budgeted for it already, right?
No, not for 2 years of
No.
salary.
It's in the budget that we talked about, the master budget.
It's not in the budget for 2 years of salary. It is not. Only,
Okay,
only a rate increase. That's all I put in there. So in essence, we would have to hold their salary or prepaid in case something goes wrong, make sure that we can pay that. If we do let somebody go, or they do have a termination, and then use it to pay them off. Otherwise, we'd have to do a special assessment to pay their salary.
Yes.
That's a financial problem.
That's a big financial problem.
Okay. Point of order, do we have a motion on this? That's the question at this point.
Let's see.
Because Florida is an at-will state.
So it's a motion. Or did I really,
I'm not,
we can put a motion to,
yeah, I'm getting my thoughts together, trying to figure out how we would work, so I'm gonna be specifically worded.
okay, go ahead.
We still have George if you need his help.
What was your question?
Mark is figuring out how to word the motion to see if it passes. So he might need your help to put the wording together.
The motion?
It's not a motion yet. He's getting ready to motion.
Just that I motion to ratify the employment contracts and move forward with finalizing and executing them. Something to that effect. It doesn't have to be terribly complex.
This is a financial question. I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask, but the finance folks said that because this contract runs for 2 years, we have to budget 2 years of their contract as a liability. Therefore, we have to have the money on hand.
Is that true?
That's, do I follow that logic over there? Or is it that we budget a 1 year of their salary, which we have done this year? And therefore will be obligated to fund their salary for the next year in next year's budget. It's not a 2-year budget problem. It's an issue. It's a 1-year budget problem. There's 2 ways of looking at it.
When you only adopt the budget annually, and the budget is just an estimate, some line items will go above, some will go under. If you get midstream in the year and you discover that your budget's inadequate to meet your liabilities and expenses, then you go through the process to amend the budget and pass an amended budget. And when you come up for year 2, you need to make sure that the proposed budget covers that salary. It's not unlike if you signed a management contract for 3 years, you're still adopting a budget annually each year. Same way if you sign a 4 or 5 year landscaping contract, each year you're approving an annual budget. And if that budget becomes inadequate midstream, then you go through the same process for an amended budget in the middle of the year.
But I don't have a buyout clause on landscaping
But yes, but the whole point, that's fine, but so the issue here is that as long as they are performing adequately. Then they would receive the salary and we would owe them the salary. At the second year, the same thing would happen. After that, we would have to go to a new contract. So the only liability is if we fire them without cause. Correct? If we just decide we don't want them anymore, then we would owe them the money, and then that would require a special assessment to settle the 2-year contract in 1 year. Right?
It would
Am I
be
reading that correctly?
It would be akin to, let's say you budgeted 10,000 in legal expenses for the year, you get hit with a bunch of lawsuits and you end up spending 30K on legal. You would address it in the same manner, either amend the regular budget, pass a special assessment, those kind of things.
But it's only it's only valid, that problem is only there if they're fired without cause or laid off without cause, correct?
I would agree.
Well,
Does that address the concerns? From the perspective? I mean, if not, why not? That's the question.
well, I'm okay with the motion that he recommended.
If they're laid off
Motion
without
to
cause.
ratify the employment agreement as signed. And written.
That's a very simple motion.
Yeah, it is simple.
That's the wording you use, right?
That's what he said we can use.
Would you like to make the motion?
She just did.
I just did.
Oh, you just did.
That was
Second.
second. Okay, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nay,
Nay, one. Motion passes, employment contract accepted.
Do you anticipate any other things that we would need George's advice for in the budget?
Churches, we got.
The rest of them was pretty straightforward, don't they? I mean, we could
equipment.
discuss whether we need to do them or not, but I don't think they're gonna raise up any kind of legal issues.
No,
Does
I
anybody
don't,
anticipate?
Yeah, we are good.
yes,
Recommend we let.
George, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. Have a good evening and let me know if you guys need anything else.
Good
talk
to
to
see
you
you, George.
Thank you.
Definitely. Take care. Bye-bye.
I got to see.
Nextly, Sean already briefed the Westlake Service Area Committee. The next item is equipment purchase for a quadrant SD40 folder and server.
before we, can I say something, before we go through all these proposals, may I ask why we only have one? And not multiple, so that we can compare?
This is the same one that was originally put in front of the board when you took over from the session. The audience.
No, it goes along with the machine that we already. And we need this folder line.
Every time we send out a mailing, the last mailing we sent out, it took them 9 hours to do it.
So that'll take 4.3 years to pay for the folder.
Yeah, so I don't see the value.
I'm not opposed to the folder, I'm just telling you that the labor is costly as folder is, and there's also what $600 and some odd dollar lease and talk about that has to be paid. I think it's expensive to start with that.
So purchase, so
It's not like this before.
let's read through this here. So the DS40 folder inserted pricing options, there's a lease option and a purchase option. The lease price includes shipping, installation, training, and maintenance. This is the most popular option according to the vendor. No money is due up front or deposits are required. You also have the option to purchase upfront. So a two-year lease option. Excuse me, 2 leasing options. There's a 39-month option and a 63-month option. The 39-month is $162 a month. The 63-month is $127 a month. It's really $161.99, $126.99 for whatever we see. The purchase option is $4,500. Shipping is $279. Installation and training is $350, and the service agreement is $696 annually. Are we missing anything from that?
The first lease option would be, I'm sorry, second lease option is $8,000 over its term. $8,037. Second lease option is $6,317.61. Coverage term. 6,300 or 8,000 for the lease, or $4,500 one-time payout plus $600 annually, and some fees to set it up. $700 annually.
Comments from the board regarding a folder inserter. How big is this?
Not huge.
It's on mine like this big.
Count, like micro size.
Yeah.
Attaches to the postage machine.
This folder insert that this helps with the mailing.
Is how many mailings do we see ourselves sending out per year?
Thank
2 a
you.
year.
2 a year.
Only 2 this year because we have an election next year, probably not, which is only one.
And you want to spend $8,000 for 2 mailings? That's ridiculous.
It is a proposal to solve a problem. I don't want or diswant it. It is a proposal from, a recommendation from management in this case, to, they don't have to get paper cuts. Because everyone volunteers, yeah, we'll come help fold, and then the 2 of them sit and fold.
Actually, I folded on the same time.
Say, Sean.
And Sean. Other comments?
I would say we're gonna go with a shorter lease.
Mhm.
That gives us the option if we change direction, because we're still in transition here.
Mm-hmm.
And if we change direction at the end of the 3rd year, we may be able to go somewhere else.
Mhm.
And we're not locked into a long-term lease for a piece of equipment that we can't sell.
Now, there are certain things where if we make changes to any of the governing documents, the ARC documents, the charters, anything like that, which I know that there are some charters that we want to adjust, all of those would have to be mailed. That can't be electronic. So any charter changes or governing document changes that we want to make next year, the year after, those would have to be stuffed and folded and mailed.
Yeah, but if you're going to do something that is multiple pages, i.e. a bylaws or something like that, you're not folding that.
But
Yeah,
also we can
harder,
make
you're not
QR
going to
codes
be
these days, so we can also, we can be 1 page if you want it. There are folding options, but this is a folder stucker, not correct? Is it stuck envelopes as well?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, there's folding options for $300-400 that will actually fold the page, and then you have to stuff them yourself, but if you've got a folder stuffer, that's what we're paying for the extra staff.
Again, John has brought up many times about using, the, special,
Well, there's some nonprofits. and other
Nonprofits
places.
that
We
do
haven't
it.
really looked at that. I think one of the concerns that Patty had was that going to an external 3rd party would take away some of our flexibility. We want to change this at the last minute. We can do that with some others.
I think I mentioned that as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, for the sake of getting this thing moving, we can motion to table this until we have the next thing that we need to mail. And then Patty and Jennifer won't do it. So we'll see if we can get these options, the volunteers, or we can see who from the board wants to come stuff. But having both of our office staff indisposable or inaccessible for many of the community members that come in throughout the day, to me is not acceptable use of their labor time. So we'll table it for now. Motion,
Or I will motion to go with, the shorter leasing option. I'll put that detail, if someone wants a second. I'll put that out there.
okay,
Does anyone want to second that?
so your motion, what's your motion? Restate, please.
Motion to approve the, yeah, it's an amendment. Leasing option. If anyone wants to second that.
May I ask one question before tonight? How fast can we get this item?
Couple weeks, probably not.
One time we said 2 weeks.
3 weeks. We have it in time for the next mail.
Well,
possibility, but like right there in the line, that's why I kept sending it out to the board with no responses.
All right, John, I'm
What
sorry,
is the
please
next mail?
continue your motion.
Oh, well, that's pretty much it
Okay.
at this point, unless
So
there's a
so
second.
your motion is to approve 39-month lease at 161.
Mhm.
Can this be canceled at any time? Or you pretty much locked into it? With cancellation on the.
What, that is a good question. Is there a cancellation?
Do we have the lease contract?
No,
Well, I guess then we'll have to,
I would assume- I would assume since you're signing on for 30-month lease, 39-month lease, that there's not, you can't cancel it. You're leasing it for 39 months.
So when is the next big mail?
the candidate statements, are we not gonna mail them out?
And we did statements from the last time we put them on the election, put them with you, not electronically.
I think I was electronically via,
And it was mailed.
yes, it was, I think,
Back of those.
it was, I
So-
think.
Yeah, that was because.
This is not a, this is a lease that owns, right? This is not a, right, so you own it at the end of that 39 months, it's yours.
It's still functioning.
Yeah, it comes with maintenance, so at month 38, if it's anything at all wrong with it,
Right, we call that, because we
That's right.
call that with people on a regular basis.
see, it just spreads the cost out over the course of more months.
That's what I'm suggesting.
And we have the money?
So,
And we have the money?
We have the money? That's the
for
question.
$161 a month, we're talking about budgeting it for 3 months, the answer is yes.
That's your motion. Does anybody second John's motion to 39-month lease? I'll second it. Second. All in favor? Aye. You're on aye? I will aye. All opposed? 1, 2,
I am, so we're at gridlock.
and we're at a gridlock. Okay,
So why don't we consider? I will call around
Mhm.
and see if I can get somebody to give us a quote and send it out. Doing the mailing and stuffing and all that sort of stuff. I'll find out how much it's gonna be per piece. And see how much it would cost versus only a hundred mail machine.
It's not a horrible idea. I would say that, you know, when we did mailings at a distance, like when Associate did our mailings, some residents would get them, some wouldn't. This is why we wanted to go in-house with the mailings.
So at some point. We gotta make this thing work better.
Yeah.
Because we are not associated.
Mhm.
Associate has a lot of problems.
And that's why we were trying to lease this and buy it, so that we could do everything in-house. But we did the motion, we voted, it did not pass. Next item.
But,
See. All right, projects for community updates.
So these are different things that have been on the budget for the past year. The projector, the inflatable projector screen, the PA system, projector tripod, indoor projector screen. Totaling $7,000. Game room TV, we don't have one yet. If there's a possibility with the display cast, the TV mount, all that kind of stuff.
Let's start with the easy one at the bottom. The gem car batteries.
That's a necessity.
Our battery went on the golf cart and we need to replace it. Motion to buy one gem cart battery at $1,849.93.
Do you have that quote? Is that it?
Oh,
Sorry, I just want to write this down.
that's fine.
I'll second the motion.
yes,
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Fix the cart. Right. Right, and go to public sector.
Okay, I just- Let's just get-
All right, let's start at the top. We'll call it the projector package. Projector, inflatable projector screen, PA audio system. This is for all the social events we do, maybe hosting movie nights, things like that.
I'm sorry. Pen, do you have the amount for the batteries?
So, Sean, I know
The
that
battery
we
was
had
1,840.
budgeted.
It's like a series of batteries.
Doing this.
Okay,
oh,
so yeah, I just
But
want the
Are we
number for the
funded
minutes.
for this?
There was, from what we had planned on, there was still $10,000 that we could spend for equipment this year.
So it was already projected in the budget.
It was.
Yeah.
However, some of that was for the Wi-Fi system to be expanded for the timers, but not a lot of it, just $1,500 of it, so this is. close to
Can you guys
spending.
still hear me?
Yes,
I'm sorry to interrupt like this, but I just have one quick question. One request is people who do these quotes and proposals, whoever did them, please have them speak for just a minute. The golf cart, I have no problem fixing it. I'm the one fixing it. If you guys are okay with me fixing it, I need some sort of petty cash because I'm sure there's going to be an AutoZone run in there for some parts, brackets, bolts, washers, battery cleaner. And that's it. That's really all I had there. I just want to make sure we address that. And on the folder, one of our issues, John, that I spent probably better part of 6 or 8 months. I know it was gridlocked. It'll be up again next month. All of our mailings must go through the Lithia Pinecrest post office in order to be delivered here within a 3-day period. And that's a fact. We try to all the local mailing post offices around. It's the only way to do it. So whatever solution you all come to, just make sure it lands at the Lithia Pinecrest post office. Thank you.
the review ones,
Mhm.
they went all the way to Tampa before I came back here.
Gotcha.
That's crazy. Okay.
Thank you, Tommy, for the information.
But back to the.
You're welcome.
All right, but what was the,
So the next one is buying some entertainment equipment.
okay, the entertainment. Okay,
So, is it open for discussion?
Yes.
So are we planning on doing community events? Movie nights and things? I think it's a great idea, you know, using that park. We used to have the concerts. You know, that's a really good community building event. You know, it's good for kids, good for, you know, you could have mixed movies. You can say, don't send your young kids here. I wouldn't go R-rated, but you know, but you know, if we show different age groups, so it's not just kids movies, that for the teen, have a tween night, say this movie might be better for tweens and not young kids, but I think that's great. Anything that gets the community together on the field is a good idea. And that's just,
You're talking the field in front of your house.
yeah, the Central Park field. Yeah, well, I mean, we could have it over in the Oaks too. I mean,
well, yeah,
you know,
that's scheduled and,
you know, because we don't
Properly.
control, we don't own either of the spaces technically. But you know, I think that's a, you know, anything that gets the community together is better. I mean, that's my take. As long as we have a social committee that's ready and able to support doing it, then I think it's a great idea.
And that is a question, do we have a social committee that's?
we still have
willing?
people, still have
Yes.
people, and we still have, the help of our management to go through any insurance and those issues. We're gonna probably start up a meeting again as we did before the fall festival. I don't know, I didn't go into a,
Crystal's running the social committee right now because.
Started a new job.
That's why I
Yeah,
was
so-
directing my
Yeah.
question
yeah,
to Johanna.
so there's gonna be kind of, there's, I guess, a little bit of a switch up.
We need to get the band back together.
But
Crystal's leading it and
Oh.
we could use some more volunteers.
So that John, okay, John
Yes.
Dragon's going, okay.
there's several ladies that are very enthusiastic about it, so
Good.
there you go.
Okay,
But as
I
a,
support it. I think it's great.
So
so the answer though to Mac's question about is there a committee to take this and run with it is not really a yes. It's kind of
I'd say yes, it is. It's committee of one right now.
a committee of one though.
Yes.
she
Okay,
does
so-
not have anything planned for movie nights at this time.
At this time, yeah.
At this
But
time.
Well-
the intent is to get more committee. members.
Right.
You have to get the numbers.
Okay,
Anybody that wants to volunteer, you know, get out there.
And I think,
Come help.
and I hate to throw you under the bus like this, but Johanna has more of the younger ages that she can focus on.
Mhm.
and Crystal has more of the older ages, because your daughter's older.
Right.
So I think,
I volunteer to run movie night, guys, if you need anyone.
Yeah, no, I think if we have the equipment, people will step up and say, hey, you
Right.
know, I mean, I'll bring some popcorn and I'll sell it for $2.
you cannot make money.
I'm only
Okay.
kidding. Donate all the charity. I mean, I'm just saying, I, you know, I might even sit on my front lawn.
Well,
I was gonna say, I'm in the city on the front.
Well, we should have derived, but that's.
Okay.
We can have older movies.
We can talk about movie night
Yes.
all night long.
But
But
that was
the-
my only question, and I finished with I supported.
So,
okay, so
so
the,
can I go back to funding? Do we have enough funding, not budget, funding for this $7,000?
In the 2023 budget, there was, I had left $15,000 for equipment purchases that included the folder and most of the devices we have here. We're close to spending that, but we just tabled the folder, so basically there's room to spend anything else at the moment.
okay. So. So we want to have a motion on the table?
Do we have a motion on the table?
What is our total funding?
Motion to approve this,
The master budget.
okay,
We're spending a lot of it tonight, so it's hard for me to keep.
Oh, you've already accounted for all the things that we've proposed.
No, I have not.
You said at the beginning that we have allocated 62,000 of the 95,000.
No, we're getting ready to spend $62,000 of it.
Okay.
I haven't put it all in. I don't put it in until you approve the budget.
Okay.
So basically, I have estimates in here for a couple of things that we did, mostly that were the toilets and so forth. I've got those in here already.
Mhm.
The vehicle, I got the battery. I assume that would get passed. I'll put that one in because it's necessity. $15,000 is a bubble. That means it was not a total number of what we planned on spending because I had a feeling somebody had to spend that, I got to prove it. Other than that, that's what we got.
Since this is
Yeah,
such a large
because-
number, I'd like to get through the other things that we need to pay for before we spend $7,000 on entertainment equipment. So can we table this for later in the meeting? Motion to table for later in the meeting.
Second.
I'm entering the numbers as you approve things, so I can give you a bottom line before it's over.
Got it. Okay.
That would be great. Thank you. Thank you, Sean.
Next in lead. All right, so we're gonna table that. We're gonna table the game room TV. Additional cameras for the pool. I would like to talk about this.
Isn't that on the same list?
So
The entertainment section.
$800.
what's $800 for,
$800 for some camera equipment at the pool.
Well, my thing, yes, anything that improves security is good. I would suggest we build it to the security committee since we have excess money in the
Mhm.
security committee.
okay,
And I think we should start thinking about these things as they are primarily there for security.
so,
So it should be covered under a security budget. personally.
well, the motion is to approve the $800 for the cameras by the pool.
Yes.
And assign the cost to the security committee.
So we're adding the
Security.
switch and one
And
camera,
assign-
right? Just one camera. That's the cost of one camera. First.
Is there any,
So,
do we need any other items to go along with the camera?
Yes, switch and the wiring team for $400 according to this.
so Tommy, we only need one more camera at the pool?
No, the suggestion was for 4 total. There's going to be 2 cameras on either side of the pool, 2 facing the side gates and 2 facing the opposite direction of the gates toward the front of the building, so we can cover both the bike rack and the pool equipment up front. And that's kind of the teen area where kids are hopping over. So we want to get closer detail there. So I have 4 cameras and 1 switch I believe I have on there. I also have wiring in there for $400 a day. I know a wiring guy. We could get a CIO on his license and everything. He charges $50 an hour. 2 guys come out and they'll run all the wires that we need for it. Okay, it's all that they require is 1 day's worth of work. So I budgeted that at what, $400 there.
Hey, Tommy, real quick.
Yeah.
On the quote we're looking at, it says 1 switch, 1 camera, and 1 day for the wiring team for $800. Is that inaccurate?
Cameras are $200.
That's a typo. Yeah, cameras are $200 a pop, and the switch is what, 150, something like that.
So,
Yeah,
so this is not, then this isn't, this $800 is not correct, then based on what you just said.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not sure what you're looking at. I could have typoed it, but I could get you a real number in about 5 minutes.
That would be awesome, thank you.
Table
We'll
for
table it when he comes back.
We'll come back.
Well, we need to know that number.
Next.
I know there's plenty of money. in
Tampa's
security.
plumbing solutions for the pool bathrooms.
Okay.
Patty, do you want to speak to this?
Yes. Sending that out. The toilet bowls are. They don't flush correctly. We're replacing one by one. So for the first one is actually in the family bath for $685. But as we were walking through, we found the handicap toilet bowl in the ladies' room isn't flushing at all.
Okay.
So that's why it's backed up on regular basis. So he gave us a price, he got us a price for $600 per unit instead of the $685, so for him to buy them both. It's $3,000 for the 5 of them, that need to be replaced versus the $685.
3,000,
So,
5 toilets.
so this would replace this. If he did all 5, we wouldn't need this.
Right,
And this is the only quote, plumbing quote that you got?
because we had an emergency, so I had him in, he's done all the work that we've been asking for before.
Okay,
So this is
Like
already
the toilets that's damaged, or can you not just replace it with a flusher?
The inside is the waterless units. No, I did not get additional units. So before he interrupted you, let me answer you. I did not, because he's our regular. And
This is our plumber. This is the guy we go with and then we have a plumbing problem.
Yes.
He's the guy that fixes our plumbing.
One of them, yeah. And he shows up all the time.
Where's
And fixes
the
a bunch of
old
things. He's done work over it on Cornell too.
Feel like as a guy that has had to go around and clear toilet poop out of toilets.
Yeah.
I would like to prioritize this.
good.
Yeah, I
So
think
is
so.
one already done or we?
So
One was done before the pool.
So in other words, you
So,
want to reward.
none of this work has been done.
That's what you're saying.
because it's what?
I said, because he's had to do, you know, you're saying clean out the food, you want to do.
Yeah, I've had to. clean.
Yeah, I think
I
that,
don't want to clean out poop out of toilets anymore.
okay.
So
that
these
was-
are,
Only once.
these are all equipment work as opposed to pipe problems.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because you know, in Encore, we don't have a water treatment, so that's eating up our pipes as well.
See, this is the interior units are the waterless tanks, so you can't replace them all because they're too old. So to answer Sean's question, for him to go in and replace it, it costs more to order those pieces. That is like the one big black thing. For him to find it, it takes weeks to find it, and then it costs more than $2. So this way we're getting the new toilet bowls, the flushes, and we don't have to leave the signs on there, hold down for 3 minutes, for 3 seconds.
And this $3,000 includes labor.
Yes,
Okay, so this would be at a
And
full,
that's all the toilets that are left, or it's just at the toilets?
just the courthouse.
So do we have issues with other toilets in the lake house?
We do, but not the same, not as bad as we do over here.
But, and this is only in the ladies' room.
No, we only have 1, 2, so we have the one in the handicap bathroom that has to be done, the family bathroom.
Mhm.
and-
This just says the family on the ladies' side and the rest of the ladies' room, so this does not cover the men's room.
The men's room has already been done. The men's room's been done, right, that was the first one that we did in the beginning of the summer. That was right.
so these are
Well,
the,
then that
these are the
is-
kind of things, part of the,
Right.
pending.
So the bottom line is all of all of the pool to bathrooms will have new toilets done in 2023.
Yes.
The pool bathrooms.
All right, motion is to approve. Tampa Plumbing Solutions, $3,000 to replace 5 toilets.
And we have that in the maintenance budget.
We didn't for plumbing, but I moved money into that budget at a minute, so yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
All right.
Nay. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 5 toilets.
yeah, could be.
It could be, but since we have a surplus, I would recommend not taking it from the reserve this month.
All right, next item is
Ladies and
fine fabrications. The scope of project is to design, engineer, weld, fabricate, and powder coat the installation of the louvers
Mhm.
at the pool. All the ones that basically just keep falling out
They keep going.
and it looks like garbage.
Yes.
The quote, the total is now, so we have to pay half now and then half the project completion. Total is $21,229.87. This is to do
The entire thing.
Architectural window,
The materials that we're using are, it says fabrication welding, or are we doing aluminum or some kind of metal?
It's a metal.
Can I give a 1-minute background on this?
Absolutely.
Yes, go ahead.
So that proposal you're looking at is only through one company. It's the first company I could find. Yeah, it's all aluminum. It'll take a football, it'll take a ball, it'll take a hammer, powder coat painted to a color of our choice. I can match up the existing louvers. That part I think will look great. I also had them quote all the uppers because they're starting to fall apart and crack, at least on the inside of the pool. We don't necessarily have to do those. We don't really have to do those now, but we definitely have to do the big ones. My goal was they're kind of difficult to find and it takes time meeting them at the pool. So the idea was use this as a base level. If you guys approve the project, approve it at this price, and then Patty or myself could help try to find 2 other quotes from reputable people within this price bracket or lower and go with the best pick.
I'm confused.
So what he's saying is, I'm sorry.
No, please, go ahead, John.
No, what I'm gathering from that is to propose basically a motion for kind of a budget and, within this range and not necessarily. go
That would be my suggestion. This guy was great. I would treat him as a high quote and then spend time getting out 2 more. But if we don't approve the project, there's no point in working on it any further. That's all I'm stating. So yes, I would approve this as a budget. And then Patty can go out and find 2 more quotes for a similar product or an alternative option of something hardened painted aluminum that's going to look good there.
We have- let's talk about a second, but we can do. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Now, this is.
And Sean, I know you and I had talked about stamped aluminum. When I talked to the guy, the price was like 8 times more for anything CNC'd. So
Yeah, I talked to a guy that
I went with
was,
the standard shutter.
I can get that code out for you.
Well, can I raise one question on this is,
Mhm.
what about if we do something that's not this? Like, have somebody block it up with a design of, glass block or something so that it does the job of sealing it off, but it still has some kind of architectural finish as opposed to putting louvers on. If it would be less expensive and still look.
So just my 2 cents. I don't think it's going to be less. I think it's going to be a lot more.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's what I was looking at. I was looking like extrude aluminum, and then they could CNC out like the Fishhawk Ranch West logo on it, and it was a lot more money. These are pretty much standard. I guess hotels use them and everything, so they just place the order with the manufacturer, and this is kind of the going rate, I suppose. Until I get more quotes, I don't know for sure, but
Well, and this would be a reserve cost, right?
It can be.
Well,
but
it
there's no
it
need
should.
for-
This is a
there's no need for
structural.
it to be if you don't want it to be this year.
Well, again, and my perspective going into this is a broader is I don't want to spend the security if we can avoid spending the security. Overage or underspending. So that's where, so I guess I'm thinking in terms of when do we get to the point where we're on the edge
We're
of,
already past it.
we're already past it. I thought we had like 60 some odd $1,000.
The 2 items that are left on here, we'll put it, if you take that one out, you'll have $40,000 left. If you take out the louvers right now.
Right, so we had about 130, 140,000 that was, we were underspent. But 60 some odd thousand of that was going to be from the security fund. So that I was operating on that there'd be 60,000 plus of regular.
The
funds.
items that are not committed for at the moment are the 15,000 of equipment that we were discussing earlier.
Which is already in the budget, correct?
It's in the budget.
But that was included in the
Those are
money that was
those are the
underspent.
only optional items that are left on the budget this year. No matter which way you look at it, they're the only optional budget
Okay, got it.
items. I have one more mailing in here that is gonna happen, so I'm gonna assume that doesn't count. We have improvements for plant replacement we talked about. That's an optional item that affected. And some mulch that's in the proposals for the lake house, that would affect it. There's a $11,000 a crack. And then we have the potential of a playground replacement of 35,770 is what's left after we spend those items there.
And that's for this playground or?
This playground.
So if you spend everything that we have proposed today, you'll have $35,000 left plus 18 of a surplus that's would actually attribute to the security surplus.
Right, so we have 35 plus 18 gives me 53,000, so we're close to the
All the
security.
cash, that's what I said.
Right, close to, but slightly below. You know, and the cameras, I think, are easy to say justify, but it's a nominal amount of money. So I guess that's just my take going into this, you know, I'm not comfortable with spending the security. You know, a nominal amount we could probably justify that, it just makes sense to do it, but wholeheartedly just saying, okay, we budgeted this for security. It was a contentious item, and then we're just, so. That being said, it's just my perspective, and I just wanted to share it.
The best thing I'll tell you is that we budgeted a lot of things that we didn't spend the way we expected to, a lot of things.
But none that were as contentious as the security. It's just a fact.
So the fact that we're spending a number of things to fix the pool that has either fallen into disrepair or has been abused. I really think we ought to look at, you know, we set up the reserve to catch up, and we have been adding to it since accordingly, and come up with a plan whereby we may want to use some of the reserve for what we're doing, and then start accumulating again based on the new equipment, and have a specific price that we're accumulating. Right now, it's probably just the building, you know, and so we're breaking it in pieces as we update it. But if we feel like we've accumulated 9 years of an 18-year depreciation or accumulation period, then we'll put what we've got in there and keep us some way, and then put back in from the whole thing.
So the general budget currently is underfunded $10,000 for the year because of the furniture. And it'll catch up at the end of the year, but we don't have any room in the general budget for, at this point, for the pool itself. We have money to still resurface it next year, the pool, the physical pool.
I'm confused.
Well, we're talking about the pool house
So
shutter.
you're taking it out, it's okay, but
No, I'm not, I'm just giving you the numbers. Right now, our reserve components, as of the 31st of August, we are negative $10,942 for the general funding of structures. That includes the toilets, and would include the louvered blinds or whatever the case. Because we spent $77,000 on the furniture that we are funding this year. So if I take it from another reserve, I could, but it's not part of the component.
I think it's best to approve a dollar amount, because these things have to be replaced, it looks like garbage. And approve a dollar amount for the repair of the louvers. If you have another idea, if anybody on the board wants to go out and do a research project and find another alternative to louvers, then bring it to Patty. But we need to fix them.
Okay, so we're gonna concur, but what fund are we gonna, I think we need to include where we're gonna fund
The
it from.
master operating account.
Well, it's just the cash, not the funding.
And,
so the $77,000 for the furniture came out of the reserve.
That's it.
So we had
$7,500.
one for furniture in the reserves.
Oh, no, it's part of the general reserve. The components that we have is general pool, fence, which is closed, but, it's, roofing, pavement, and retaining walls. Those are the components. Within those components are several items that are broken down, the louvers, the furniture, and that so forth falls into the general category.
Of course, the louvers are part of the structure,
It is, and that's the structure section. It's under general.
so the structures under it.
Mm.
Fine. So
So straight answer, do we fund from the reserve, or do we fund from?
I'm not gonna make that comment. I'm
Okay,
telling you
but
what
we
you get.
can fund from.
I won't tell you at this point what the numbers are. It doesn't matter what I think.
Okay,
You should give us a direction,
I did
won't spend money.
spend the money. The point is to spend the money from the budget, because you pull it from the reserve, we're never gonna fund the general budget this year, and we'll be behind next year. And we'll get.
I agree with Sean. Motion to approve to fix the louvers not to exceed $21,500, so round numbers.
Second.
Second,
Wait,
You're
wait,
moving the
wait,
project.
or are we not going to go look for additional proposals?
we are.
Motion is not to
Okay.
exceed.
You didn't get to finish
Yeah.
before.
Oh, I'm sorry.
the
Okay.
Second.
Yeah, we jumped. That's it. I was excited.
No.
Yeah. I'm just approving the motion to approve the budget. Patty's gonna go out and get 2 more quotes to see what other options are to fix it, if we can do it cheaper.
Now you can
Now
say,
you second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed.
I
Anyone opposed? All right, next up.
Tommy said 1,400 for the cameras, total.
Yeah. so
Plus
that's-
little.
What's it say?
1,400.
that's what you said.
1,400,
14.
2 cameras.
Four cameras installed.
$200 per camera, $400 to install them, and $150 to $200 switch.
It's actually really good.
Okay. But they didn't $104,000.
So do you want
What's
to
that?
make a motion?
$4,000.
14, you said 14.
Are you gonna make a motion on, you wanna make a motion on that one?
To install cameras in the pool?
Yeah.
Motion to spend $1,400 on 4 cameras, a router and wiring.
Take it from the security.
cameras,
But this-
cameras.
Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Are you opposed to cameras?
No, I'm not both,
Oh, did you say aye? Okay. That motion
It was
carries.
funny.
I was, yeah.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. I'm sure you get your sense.
Things are quiet.
All right, let's see. Fabrication, Lynn's Electric and Solar.
So that's the information, that's the, the one that I had. The one that
I see, so the total for this is $183.46. Is that per unit, or do you want to explain this?
Per unit, and it actually went up a little bit. Do you have a picture of that? It's proposal that she showed you.
Oh,
with the
I
wiring.
made the one I ripped up, okay, so. I didn't rip it up, I wrote on it,
You
I
wrote
read
it.
on
That's-
everything,
That's okay, I do too.
sorry.
All right.
I thought that
what is
was-
it?
You can have it.
So,
Mhm.
I'll get pictures one time.
Yes, so this was done yesterday.
Oh, you emailed me. That's right there.
we budgeted $200 for these and mine.
So, wait,
So, I'm sorry, I do have a question. You said that it was not hardwired, and I
Correct,
thought,
that's just a plug.
so why was it not hardwired? I thought that was our,
we have the option.
I think we're going to go back to the meeting that was discussed that we didn't, that was optional.
It was still option. So he went out. A whole bunch of us were out there yesterday for him to put in, because each unit is slightly different. So some need caps, some need bigger. Each one is totally different. We can have it hardwired. The pipe is still gonna be there. It's just not gonna have the wire on the back where it's zip tied. People are still gonna have the access to be able to unplug it.
That's not hardware.
that's,
On the inside of this. I went through this the whole time with Lynn today. It would be $50 cheaper, so it'd be about $200 per house for him to do it.
What do we, on the
What am I
inside?
missing?
Like the bottom plug?
So that plug, that, there is a plug right there.
Right. there's an outlet on each
This
side.
plug right here.
Yeah,
Yes,
So you can pull this plug out from the unit,
no, that has to stay here.
okay?
So that's always there. That was before us. So that's for the AC guy and everybody else. So so homeowners have the ability to do it. He can put the box right under here. Cause you see that brown box right there? Thank you. Do
That's the electrical box.
you want to explain it?
No, I was just saying it out loud for myself, so I'm just making sure I understood what I'm talking about.
No, I think she's legitimately asking, would you like to explain it?
He wasn't there, so I just figured.
Well, if you can
This
unplug
is-
it,
this is
it
fine.
wouldn't be hardwired,
This
but
is,
if
this
you,
is hardware, this is.
Right.
Well, it's in the junction box with a conduit.
that's hardwired.
It's got that liquid flux on it, and so it's hardware, you can't unplug that.
So that's what he did, that's a hardware. Did you do that one, or is that something else?
That's the same one. It's just, so the wire from the unit, that Hunter unit comes down the pipe right here. So we don't have to plug into this, he can actually put it in up here. from
In the box.
In the box.
pan.
in the box.
So that's hardwired.
Hardware,
That's hardware, yes.
you can't unplug.
And
it.
it's actually $200 per unit God willing, we don't have to take out any bushes or add any extras.
Can they, cut through the conduit?
And the
We just have to put through the conduit.
Okay. So,
Where it goes up the wall, hardwired up here,
so
so they can't unplug it, but they could cut the conduit and break the line.
Yeah. And in the breaker box.
Well-
they can-
If you break the conduit, you're gonna end up shocking the heck out of yourself if you're,
Well, short enough.
you're gonna short it out, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
they
can
could
I
take
ask
a
a question?
sledgehammer
Is
and
it,
smash it.
it's just this, this is the quote that we're considering right now? Or-
This is more of an estimate, so,
Okay, estimate, and then we were saying that there's gonna be multiple units.
there's
Would
93
be
one,
100.
6 of them have already been done.
6 have been done, and so that we have a total of 93.
Just
Mhm.
plugged in.
So it looks like he's coming off the load side
Yes.
of the GFI is what he's doing.
Exactly.
And so I would have an expansion box and pull them in there.
Mhm.
But the thing that I want to make sure I understand is that the quote that we have here is to. What's the price for doing anything with the zip ties compared to the high wire?
$50
$50 more,
less.
less, it's less to do hardwire.
Mhm.
I mean, is there any reason?
Doesn't make sense to me.
Because he doesn't have to put, because each one of these, he had to go back, he had to go to Lowe's after we were all out there. He had to go to Lowe's, he had to get the cover, because there's no covers on these.
Oh, there, no
He had to
bubble
put the
covers on it?
extender. So he had to put this extender, see, it's the different color right there,
Right.
and then he had to get the
Is
pipe.
that what that's costing the extra?
Come on, yeah.
Oh, he's
You gotta
putting an
love it.
extension on it because it's hard to plug that connect, it's hard to plug the hardwire in because it's not deep enough.
Right, now that's at this unit, the unit next door is totally different, it's totally flat, so he can reach it, but he would still have to put the cover on it. And plug it.
He still has to extend it even if it's hardwire?
No.
Yeah.
Not hard.
It's just a lot.
I shouldn't have to do that.
Oh, I see. You know why he's extending it? Because you can't get to the box. The box is
Box
actually
is
in.
embedded in the wall.
Yeah, he's putting an extension ring on it. See, he puts an extension ring on, can see the knockouts. He puts an extension ring on to get in there because you can't. You'd have to, you'd have to beat the stucco. They've stuck it in the wall.
Patty,
Yes.
this one
The extension.
eighty-three
As an electrician.
is not high.
Hardwire.
So
So
183 was actually the
It's
original.
cheaper.
So we went
He's saying it's
yesterday,
cheaper.
and then
I remember
after
having
we did
discussion.
work yesterday and finding out that the additionals they want the property, it went up to
I mean, you
250.
could, but
So 250 is the
the
actual.
thing about it, you could,
Or
you
to do it
could
this way,
plug
But
it
to
in.
do it hardwired, it'd be $200.
he says approximately $50 less than.
200, okay.
So.
we're at the 200,
We're back.
If we do hardwired,
which
which is
was
the,
your,
which I think,
Hardwire is,
I
they
think
can't.
John and I both
Well, they
agree
can,
that
they could trip the GFI.
minimize
Or turn the
the
circuit.
ability to
If they knew that.
manipulate the
The other
system.
way is if it's forward swinging
Right,
out
other than the
and
break.
someone's trimming your
Well, they
bushes.
can do the breaker box,
And
that.
Larry, the mowing guy comes over
but
and
they can't say
the side
something.
of that tire racks are gonna break off because the
Okay.
sun's gonna eat it alive and it's just gonna.
Oh, something accident is.
right.
If he's saying that, like, it protects the wire.
One is cheaper.
This is, you don't.
So we're looking at it
We want
because-
Yeah, you want that.
Giving you those.
Yeah, if you tie wire that, why, if you tie wire that wire to the thing, the tie wire, sorry. The tires are gonna end up breaking with the sun.
Oh,
From
yeah.
250, so.
That's fine. So whatever motion will say, he'll average out at 200
You can
units.
make
right?
too much. of a
And if
mess
you're
of
saying
this.
like, yeah, you can get this about where we're gonna.
So, do it, okay, so John, doing it this way, that's nasty way.
We'll have that. John.
It's
What do we have in the
250.
budget for this?
Doing
Tom,
it this
the
way is
electric
200.
For the houses?
Still not safe for hardwire.
Oh, good.
Initially, the $60,000 quote, that I'm filling the budget last year, which is
Okay.
estimate on that part for the timers,
Thank you.
the labor to put the timers in and the electric. The timers are roughly $170 a piece. Is the quote we got on it, and then this is another $20,000 to actually get those, so we're in it.
Right, and then we're in this, yeah, so it's the budgeted there, it was in there,
And then what it was designed for.
no brainer.
So since he's one of the architects of this project, is Tommy still on the line?
Yes.
Can I ask his opinion? Tommy, you there?
I thought you were the architect of this.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can I get your opinion on this hardwire versus not hardwire and plug it in options?
Yeah, do not hardwire is a very bad idea. Reason being is, and I understand it costs a little more to get the plug, you have to put in an outlet in and all that. Reason being is I've never seen them hardwired in a residential application, so we got to be missing something big there if we're doing this outside of the box. But my bigger reason is, how do we reboot these things? 9 out of 10 times you got to fix something like this in the field. You go, you unplug it, you plug it back in, you reboot the box. Ballinger is going to see that they can't reboot it and they can't get access to the garage to flip the breaker that it's on, if they even go that far in diagnosing the issue. They're going to put in a ticket with Patty. Patty's going to have to put in a ticket with an electrician. They're going to have to go over to the house, gain access to the garage, flip the breaker. It's just a bad idea. The whole thing the idea that we're trying to do is we're trying to negate the fact that they could just go and unplug it. Well, they can go and flip the breaker. So there's no security there. The important thing is, if they are unplugging it, we're going to see that. So it really doesn't matter if it's plugged or not. We're not gaining or losing any more security by hardwire. But we are gaining ease of access to, hey, this unit's offline, I wonder why. I could just go over there, unplug it, plug it back in. Patty, go unplug it, plug it back in. Ballinger could be instructed, first reboot every time there's a problem. Untroubled.
Tommy, can I
Yeah,
interject?
we would be losing that.
The
Yeah.
one thing you would gain would be, if,
$10,000.
well, if you gain, you save money, but that's the issue is, yes, they
Correct.
could switch the
Correct.
switch, but only the homeowner would switch the switch. If they could always
No,
say,
or the weather.
I didn't unplug that and my lawn's dead, so fix my lawn. And so you have the, in other words, by hardwiring it, the only person that can turn it off is someone who is in the house who shuts the breaker off. Therefore, the house has the liability of shutting it off. Otherwise, they
Well,
have.
two things, or trip GFI, Mac. You could have a trip GFI that turns it off, but either which way, the point is, you're right, Mac, except for the fact that if the homeowner is unplugging it, you're right, they're going to say they didn't. But the second we see it lose power, we go there. It's not like it's going to sit for a week unplugged. Patty can physically go there and plug it back in. She won't be able to otherwise.
So somebody here has to go and do it.
If we see.
Somebody somewhere we could tell Ballinger, hey, this unit's unplugged. Can you check it today?
One of our two staff people have to go do it, and they'll have the ability to do that.
Or-
Okay.
That is correct, but also Ballinger, right? We could put in a ticket with Ballinger and say, this unit is offline. Can you do a power cycle today? And Ballinger would go, sure, and they'd report back and say, we did it, or they'd report back and, it was unplugged when we got there. Don't know why, we plugged it back in though.
Right, but does that cost us money to get Ballinger to do that?
Sure does.
Of course,
They're GFI.
or someone on property could do it, right?
See it in there, but there has to be.
So I just, I understand everything you're saying, it makes sense, but, then you have to balance it with the ability to go to the homeowner and say, it cost us this amount of money, and instead of building the whole community, you're able to have liability by the person who's doing it.
This is the same thing.
But that's just,
here.
So what they're doing.
if we have the budget, that's fine, but we then have to have a service budget as we move forward.
So the house power.
If I read
Right,
you-
well, the adverse, Mac, is it's gonna be a lot of trips from an electrician who's gonna be 5 times the cost of Ballinger.
So this GFI.
That's the only that is a downside.
It's less. Tommy, it's $50 less.
It's $50 less, Tommy.
No, I'm talking about a trouble call, folks.
Box and fix it.
And the
So the
fix,
service call by the electrician is gonna be more than the service call.
so it's long
Yeah.
term
Yeah,
versus
got it. Yeah.
immediate.
Ballinger may say we don't flip breakers in residents' houses, so sorry, can't even help you.
I get it. I could
I
go
get
either
the part
way.
of, yeah, a lot of people won't touch a breaker. We have a lot of that. People,
No,
we don't touch that.
And those GFCIs are on the outside box. They're not the breakers inside the garage or inside the house, and they're actually the ones that are on the main box, the outside GFCIs. are
Oh, the meter combination.
Meter load, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna open up that meter load and play the breaker.
I'm agnostic at this point. I will go with whatever.
That's true. If they're all done with the GFI outlet below it, then yes, it is a perfect and reasonable solution.
Yeah, Mr. Electrician, what's your suggestion?
I like the hardwire only because it protects the cord, but then I see the servicing part of it, they could just unplug and pull it and walk away. Versus they won't unplug it and walk away. Now you're gonna have to unwire it to take it out. And a lot of people won't do that. Sprinkler people won't do that at all. They won't touch that stuff.
So it makes sense to
Well, the one thing about
the
the
wire.
Hunter. the plug in the
I have
hole-
one other concern, Will, on that note, correct me if I'm wrong, but if our only source of rebooting this thing is tripping the GFI, we're gonna be tripping the GFI for the whole outside breaker. So if a resident has something else plugged in on the other side of the house outside, we will be tripping and rebooting that. We could,
Yep, and then it'll shut off the timer.
Yeah, but if you look at that little drawing right there, doesn't that just come straight from the panel?
This one does, yeah.
So that won't go anywhere else.
No, the one that's off the panel.
okay,
Decided to be the service. one.
Yeah, if they're taking it off the one that's for the unit itself, that's a dedicated GFI.
Right,
It won't do anything else.
Dedicated. circuit.
Now, if they're tapping off one that's off the lanai or off the front, and
Right.
it comes around, you get a little
One's
side
on the
thing, it's
outside
nothing to do with
house.
that, then you don't wanna do that, because someone's gonna plug something in, like you said, and it will trip it, but this.
exactly.
It's only gonna trip if you have a fault inside that.
Right, and many things, also, a lot of people have internet, that's also the same outlet that they use for their internet.
Right. Yeah, as long as that's dedicated, it's all right to do it, but if it's not dedicated, then yeah, you're gonna.
And we have the.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't realize it was a dedicated circuit. Yeah, I
Knowledge.
got you.
Dedicated.
It's $4,500.
So this will come from the PD budget.
$4,500.
Yeah, it's all
Like, we're
PD
gonna do
budget,
numbers,
you're talking
it would
about,
be About $4,000 or $5,000 more, 90 times 50 is 4,500.
yeah, okay, $4,500.
90, so, well,
Thinking about
didn't
the
we
other
do,
houses, have it-
so is it 99 units that are still pending?
It's about 90 times to still be done, yeah.
90,
90, okay.
so that would be about 45.
Let's,
So,
everybody's heard the pros and cons of hardwire versus plug it in. Let's go around the horn and you get your say in what you think we should do. Mac, hardwire or plug it in?
Tommy's convinced me, the long-term maintenance costs are manageable, as long as we put it in the budget, that we have a service call for them in their budget, right? And,
So you're a plug it in.
well, I think Tom's made a good argument for it. It's a matter of, do we have the money to do it? It's $4,500 extra, so that's the
Yeah.
question I have. It's whatever the numbers you're running there, something like. It's $4,500, whatever the 250 times whatever that is. So if we have that $4,500, we can pay it this year. If it was in the budget, it doesn't break the budget, or they have it in their contingency. Then do it, and then we just manage it with the service call, and we just have to manage the budget to make sure we have a service. That's my take.
Go ahead.
So plug it in or.
Plug it in if we have the funding both now and
Talking
develop
about
a stream.
It's the one that has the money that they're trying to get.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with plug it in at this point.
All right.
I'm 50-50. I mean, it's the same in a sense. I like safety.
You can't fence it on the sir, pick a
I
side.
like it in the pipe, but that way nothing gets hit and all that, but.
Okay.
I like the hardwire. I think the picture of the cord running along and being zip tied, I just see all kinds of problems with that. I like it in the pipe. It's cleaner, neater.
Okay.
John?
Well, plugging it in, we're actually prepaying service for the year and a half. So I'm an accountant. I'm more inclined with the hardwire, because I feel like we may never have the service on it.
Okay.
And if it does come from the outside, the cost of that should go to the homeowner anyway, because that means that they're screwing around.
Change all of them, they're paying for the dues.
This is the problem with 6 people, because I like the hardwire too. I think it looks cleaner and I think it's. probably
Well,
safer.
Well, we'll-
My thing is, if you
No, that's.
tie the cord up when you tie it up, those are gonna break off.
Yep.
The zip ties are gonna break off, and then if it sways out just enough, and you got a guy, you know how the lawn companies come out so fast, they're just rolling it in there, cutting the things, and all next thing you know, the cord goes in it.
well,
So
to go
that's
hardwire,
for hardwire.
well, if it's
Yes,
for,
if you go for hardware, it's.
Well,
Yeah, the hardwire, you'd have to hit the house, and
all right, well, you're saying hardwire?
I say.
Well,
Okay.
okay, well, I'll go hardwire.
That's fine.
It's fine, we'll go hardwire.
It's clean. It's clean, and I think it's gonna make.
May I place one quick suggestion? Can we play a scenario? Play a scenario. Just play a quick scenario with me.
We
Service
can't-
ticket.
we're done.
We voted, we're doing hardwired.
We're going up. we're
And
moving.
I got you, boss, but
Okay,
My scenario was.
I just don't know how you're gonna fix it, but okay.
not gonna be on the
That's not
stamp
today's
anymore.
problem. Moving on.
Two.
So this quote is not, the quote the money we're looking at right now, 183.46 is not for hardwire, that's for.
That's cool. And that was actually amended from yesterday, well, from last week to, he went out yesterday and that was the 250.
Yeah.
I spoke to him today, I told him today, and I
Okay.
said, okay.
Yeah,
And then
I'm
$200.
going off of the fact, Sean told me the other day that he's had one of these and it's worked for 15 years and he's never had a problem with it.
Well, okay, can we get the
So a motion to hardwire the PV, what are they called, Honeywell?
It's just the electric,
Hunter, yeah,
Hunter.
Hunter.
But it's-
Hunter controllers, what's that?
but for the electrical only, because the other ones
We've
are.
already approved it, so that.
Yeah,
So just the electric.
do the electrical.
Hardwire at the times.
That's it.
Okay, next time.
do we want to, is there a amount? put
Oh,
set
do we
for that?
need, what's that, amount set?
$200 each.
Okay. Thank you.
Neil Tree Services next. Hold
Hold
on, let's go back and take a vote on that, just to get it recorded.
We did, okay, yes,
Yeah,
please.
motion of hardwire, second, anybody?
Second,
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Max opposed, one opposed.
One opposed.
I don't want Tommy to cut my power.
I did your hand and you went over to the other side.
O'Neill's Tree Service proposal approved.
That was already approved last month.
Oh, it was approved?
Yes,
Okay.
that's being done on October 11th.
This is just an FYI.
Sorry.
That would have been paid.
You already had that written down, right?
I'll do a picture
Okay, so
next
going
week.
backwards,
Mac, do we need an intermission?
I just need to run there, but you guys can go. You know,
It's already open.
She said.
okay. I'm sorry, can we, the tree proposal, what, is that the what we already approved?
Yes, that was approved last month, yes. This is just the information. for the board.
Okay.
Page 23.
I think it was open. I just don't know that you knew that it was open.
All right, proposals. Do we handle these in the order?
so,
they're-
wait, I have another question. I also understand there was a O'Neill one for $725 that got paid.
That was for the front parking lot.
Was that the one that we had already
My
approved?
understanding was that you guys approved $9,000 not to exceed 12, and that's under the 12, so it got paid. And they collected a check before they did the work, they came in my house and picked it up.
Just FYI, I'm not crazy about the pick up the check before they do the work.
It was only because it was a deposit, that was it.
She's got the whole check.
The next
So
item,
That was by you.
is
because I had
mulch
to
installation.
deposit And she wanted to buy it. It does matter because you're making it sound like I said, pay the full amount.
Um,
You are constantly
Yeah.
trying to, no,
She
no.
asked for the full amount when I was there, I gave her the full amount, because that's what was approved. So I gave her the
We
full
just don't do it again.
Well, I asked for the deposit and I gave him the information, so he's making it sound like, yet again, it's me. This condescending, constant remarks from you this week, I'm really done with it, Sean. I'm sorry to be rude and I'm sorry to bring this into the meeting, but Sean, I am done with the way you're treating me and you're disrespecting me.
Not disrespecting
You're
you.
not disrespecting me, but. Sorry,
after the meeting, please.
I apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
We got Tommy out of his closet.
All right, so the next item, we have some proposals, Master Association proposals.
The Sunrise Landscaping is the first one.
Sunrise landscape mulch installation at the lake house. It's the 500 bales of pine straw for $10,000, is that correct, Patty?
Yes, that's.
And we have it in the budget, Sean, or in funding?
It's, again, those numbers we talked about earlier, were already put into potential funding,
Okay.
so it's there.
So you've accounted for this already,
I accounted for that, just getting this document next.
all right?
So is pine straw acceptable in the community?
That's what's always been here.
in this particular place.
And this.
in the
and
front
like-
of the, yeah. Do we want to continue with that?
Do you not like Pine Street?
I'm
I
just
think it's-
asking, because as John pointed out, this is the only place that has the pine straw.
But it's pretty much a wooded area. And it kind of goes with the landscape. Like being in the woods when you
Being
walk up,
the HOA though, our area,
right?
doing something we wouldn't let anybody else do is not a good.
Well, you wouldn't want pine straw someone's house, but,
Well,
or the lake out, or the pool area, and you'd want it. I mean, you're in the woods here, I mean, think of it this way, if you put bark chips all over the place, they're gonna kick them all over and it'll be everywhere. And if we
But,
use
but
cypress
now,
mulch,
but now we don't do the, we don't have to do the, we could do the shredded bark.
oh, yeah, that's like this.
What's the cost difference? Is
That's-
there a cost difference?
I can check, I don't know, this was priced means ago.
It fades.
Well, I mean, I think it's worthy of consideration.
Just as a comparison.
So what's the water out here? How does the water run? And how does the drainage, what's the drainage like? Does it puddle up? Cause if it puddles up, that your cypress mulch is gonna float and it's gonna go with it. The pine is more or less gonna stay in the area as much, it doesn't run away as fast.
And I think that's why it's been there for so many years before.
it also has to do with how many pine trees are in.
Yeah.
Because if you have pine trees, they drop the needles, mix with the mulch, this kind of things.
Yeah.
It's the only reason for it that I can tell. I mean, cypress mulch won't float as much as bark really does.
I'm fine with Pine Straw.
I'm agnostic.
We have to cover the dirt.
Oh, yeah, this is-
Motion to approve $10,650 for 500 bales of pine straw around the lake house. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Fine.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, that's right.
You're opposed? Please record the John Deere's opposed. Pine straw.
Okay.
Next one, pool plantings, all of the various pool plantings that we've been not doing. Let's see. Do we have a total number for everything, Patty, all of the pool plantings?
There's no option.
But it-
$10,714.88. What I got.
That's what it is.
Oh, I thought you said
Okay.
15 cents.
Where are my arborists? Is this the correct time of year to be, do I even ask this question? Are they gonna grow? Are they gonna die? If we
Gonna
plant,
grow with Debbie warranty.
they'll be fine, okay.
Yeah, my landscaper, we had an opportunity
Okay,
to
so
do
there's-
some
I was gonna
plantings.
separate
He would not do it till now.
Okay.
He would not do it till now, and he
So
just came
this
out a
is the
week
right
ago
time to plant.
and planted some bushes and things.
So we're looking at us, this one is 742, this one.
Patty, you said the amount was? Patty,
I'm
I'm
Kathy.
sorry, Kathy.
It's okay. I have a sister named Patty, so I'm saying Patty. $10,714.88.
So you give the pool. the face.
That's the total amount?
For all 7 quotes that are here.
I will make a motion, get a second, and we can discuss.
Okay,
So the motion is to approve $10,714.88. To do all of the planting at the pool. Is there a second?
second.
Second from John. Is there discussion?
Yes,
What is the irrigation down for? Putting all these plants in there, but.
They have drip lines. Yeah, they have drip lines.
A lot of places have gone away from this.
Because they're inside the pool and they're.
Yeah, that's
Like, because they're inside the pool and inside the.
Three
drip
lines.
lines.
So this is all from Sunrise?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
I'm not an arborist.
But then,
I said I'm not an arborist, but I do know that, we look around.
Okay. I think that's one, and then there's this one.
They're breaking them down so they're a little slower. To the ground. And,
Like in the
getting away from
planters.
the drip line, because the lines break, and they can't feed it, so they don't-
Check them now.
Right, like happens out here. They did put some of the sprayers in the planters. And they fill the planters every day.
If there's water already there, is it possible you could stay? not a big issue. That's what I get to know. We'll have a drip line running all through there. all-
I anxiously wait for comments.
I feel that.
No, I'm waiting, that's why I'm, you said you had comments, so good thing you said nothing.
I do have comments because I feel like we've spent a lot of money on the pool. Wow. And you know my feeling about the furniture and the umbrellas. So I'm wondering, do we really need to spend $10,000 right now? Yes, I see the pictures. I agree. At some point, we need to do landscaping there, but I'm not quite sure that now is the time that we need to do this.
Sure.
Maybe after the first of the year, still in the cool time, but I'm not quite sure that now is the time we need to do this.
We want to make sure this is fully budgeted.
Any other comments?
I just added all them out and it comes to 10,714. So I'm gonna update that, make sure I put that correctly in here.
And 88 cents.
And 88 cents.
I know we've been pushing this off all year long, and then we got to the master budget and we did the master session. And Sean was exuberant about how much money we had left over. And so this is one of the very first things that we talked about and said, hey, we have the money, we can actually make the pool look nice. So if there's no more comments, we'll take a vote.
Yep.
I
You have a comment?
agree. I agree. I think we need to make the pool nice. Like, my only concern is how are we funding?
Okay, so the motion was put to by Mark. Do we have a who seconded?
So far.
We talked about it, now we just need to vote once comments are done.
Yeah, because.
I motioned, you seconded,
Oh,
and now we need to vote.
sorry.
Ready to vote.
Ready to vote. All in favor of the landscape package at the pool, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Post, night,
Motion carries. Next item is bookkeeping proposals. Plan is to hire a bookkeeper that will be on site and is familiar with that forward. I believe we have 2 quotes, is that correct?
Yes.
Or more?
The other one did not get back to me today. This is the one that finally sent their bid in. It's.
Oh, this one, I've seen this one for like $6,000.
Yes, $6,000, ridiculous.
$6-7 one pass it.
Yes.
All right.
That's possible.
Yep.
What was the?
Should have expired.
We have
I was hoping to have
for the no hassle.
additional quotes to share with you this evening. I have some numbers, but not physical written quotes, so I didn't have those available, but there were 3 that responded from the 8 that actually recommended.
Mhm.
yeah.
None of them will be on site, but I'm not sure if certain the on site is necessary to do a Dropbox, which John and I talked about at some point. But the reality is that I've gotten quotes from as low as 1,100 and change to 8,000 from 3 different quotes. The one that seems to be most desirable is a company called Popper, and they were trying to get me a written quote today, and it didn't arrive before the meeting, but it was
Maybe I can come from the back.
$4,000, $4,027 and handle all of it with the Dropbox included. And our Appfolio preferred vendors. These are all people that Appfolio recommended as opposed to some of its. My information is to try to talk to them before we move on.
Okay, let's see.
I get the impression that you were impressed with you.
I was. They've been very diligent of answering my questions and they have a nice onboarding process to check everything that's been already done. And they've handled more than 500 Appfolio clients, so some that can do the job.
And they're at 4,000. Right.
Not roughly exactly, it's 4,027. They're doing it based on a per door count.
So we just. what did we do?
Yeah, we paid
Okay.
Patty, I know you spoke to 2 vendors. You want to brief them and which one you like the best?
The one for 6,000, one of these people blew my mind.
Yeah.
There was absolutely no. the PM bookkeeper.
That isn't the one that we got though. It's the only one I got. Is this no hassle?
Yeah, just like I didn't get anything from my last 30 days.
Did did you send that out one before the,
No.
okay,
we don't have those.
do we have it so you can pass it around, everybody can look at it?
Absolutely.
Which one are we talking about?
PM bookkeeper.
So as we stand at the moment, not budgeted $6,000 a minute for accounting.
So this is a $6,000 month. That's right.
Yes.
Well, not when we've got quotes at 4,000 reputable
And
and.
then this was
others, too.
2,000.
What's no hassles
2,000.
We have it 2,476.
a month?
Yeah, based
The
out
other
of
one that I had that was in that range was OJO bookkeeping based out of Colorado, and it was all in the same realm, about 2001. I banked on 2,000, but put in 6,000, just remember that every $1,000 you put into the budget costs, each of us a few dollars a month, so 6,000 is a lot of money. It's actually gonna exceed our tax sale or we've got a budget by 3/4.
So. The X number of dollars per door doesn't tell me what they're gonna do. And the concept, I mean, I'm an accountant. Judging on the number of transactions we have once it gets set up, I can't see spending $6,000 for doing an accounting work. However, they're also collecting receivables and keeping track of them, and I guess merging QuickBooks with FHRW.
No, we won't be doing QuickBooks, and I understand. We lose the mirroring that we're doing at the moment. With these companies, Proper is offered to do the mirroring if we want them to. But the reality is that each of these companies would just literally, we do 92% of our transactions electronically through AppFolio for the receivables. So the checks that come in, they would process those and post them. The system is set up at the moment to be almost fully automated for payments, with the exception of a few things that get posted up on like Amazon and so forth. When those hit, they post and they can be allocated in a group round checks can be run. Already all set up. Payroll is done automatically. So the amount of time that it takes to reconcile and do those transactions is probably under 20 hours a week. It's got to be more like 10 hours a week. Right now, I'm spending about 4 myself. I assume that someone who's better at it could do it faster, but that's what it's taken. So we're paying bills the day we receive them at the moment through the automation. All I do is hit the print button and put them in the mail. I pick up checks once a week and I make a bank deposit once a week. Okay, those are what's being done for $6,000. I'll resign and get paid $6,000 for that. I'm glad they pick it.
I think no one's
You're
in favor.
thinking that the one that you chose is 4,000,
It is.
which is still $2,000 more than what we budgeted.
It is. And the other one, the OJO, I think is capable, but I feel better with Proper. And I recommend interviewing all of them together, which is what we originally decided to do at some point, right?
Yes, that was we're supposed to do it over the past couple months.
Now, we've only been at this about a month in this conversation.
Well, no,
Last minute.
we've been at this for months, and at the last board meeting was when I said a deadline for today. When I said, I want all the quotes in, get me as many as you can, 2, 3, 4, 5 by this meeting, so that we can actually go forward with this.
Okay.
John, that one in front of you is the $6,000 one. It's not the same one that's in the packet, but that's for 2,000. And this can be adjusted down as things roll up.
So that's,
Yeah.
This one can be adjusted then.
no,
This one in your board
this
packet.
one can.
No.
Mhm.
So at this point, it sounds like the most reasonable option is the no hassle accounting. As far as financially,
I think financially and services wise, based on the fact that they're gonna come here and work with Patty, pick up the checks, take the checks to the bank, do all of the things that we need a bookkeeper to do.
all right, the motion approved, the no hassle accounting
I have a
proposal.
question, what? So Jennifer, don't you post the checks right now?
I post the checks to the account, yes.
So we're taking away a task that you're going to be doing, that you do currently. Is that correct?
We had talked about that was something that could come off of the list. This was the list that was originally quoted, but that would be something that could come off it.
I don't have it. That comes from the list. Do you have that in the guide? I don't. The second one you sent out, I only have the first one. It's on
I think the list of that number.
whatever the qualifiers are that they're talking about this time.
I don't know. She's talking about.
There's a list, in fact, does anyone have?
I don't know.
It's in that packet right there.
And
It's not
In here?
She got like that.
Okay,
That's in the.
well,
It's in the electronic
well,
packet.
I guess the motion was that.
So, okay,
Call for a second.
are you, so the
So you
service,
motioned,
are
do
you
you want
talking
to
about the service summary? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. So again, my question, I just wanted to. What services that are, we're asking, whatever accounting company it is. That is currently being provided by either Jennifer or Patty. The plan is to take that away from them? And have somebody else do that?
If it is a bookkeeping function, yes,
And why is that?
we are going to professionalize our bookkeeping services with a professional bookkeeper.
So what you do now is you enter what
The checks as they come in onto the account.
accounts receivable.
Right.
So, I'm still not sure that it wouldn't be more economical for us to not have a Dropbox at the bank. The bank receives them, deposits them, give them the list of what we receive.
What do you mean a Dropbox?
Where it automatically goes.
Just, you tell the people that when they mail their payment in, they just mail it directly to the bank. Bank has a code to it, so it comes in electronically. And they, put it in our bank account and give us a list of what they collected.
How is that going to work with all the different service area accounts we have? Do they have to annotate on the check which service area it's for?
Well, they do anyway, but yes,
And the
They
bank
have
is,
to do something.
the bank will sort those out.
they would set up 5 drop boxes.
It's just however we want them to code it, we tell the client, the customer to do that. We'll always have some people that won't do it. Mitchell figure out who they are. And so they're like,
So we'll still have people that drop the checks off at the lake house.
Yeah.
We'll probably have someone do that.
And you'll have checks here because of lease agreement fees and or key fobs and or rentals of the lake house too.
There will always be paper checks until we no longer accept them.
Correct.
Well, so you're talking about at this point, 8% of the homeowners are sending us checks. Let's eliminate the checks, the first one of the checks.
And I'd say that's kind of the main talk about together, eliminating checks. I can tell you that would ostracize a large portion of our community. And I don't think I would ever move towards eliminating checks.
So, but the motion at this point is for the county, I mean, I
Yes,
understand, Dan, this.
To state your motion again.
Again, yes, the motion is to approve the agreement with a no hassle accounting of the proposal as presented.
Doing not to exceed amount.
Not to exceed amount, there's 2,476.
Are they not coming in to do a presentation to the board? Before we approve this?
I was under the impression that the coach could do, but I thought we were still planning to interview them, at least the 3 of us, so I don't know if that's the case.
So the last board meeting said John, Sean, and Patty get together, figure out a time the 3 of you can interview people. Sit down with them and interview them. We have a month. That was what was asked to do. The whole board doesn't need to sit down with every contractor that we hire. We do like bouncy houses. We didn't do that with the pool company. We don't do that with people we hire. It's more efficient. We pick 3 people, the 3 most knowledgeable people in this area. And that was the thing. Now we have a few quotes. We have a few verbal quotes, which I'm not comfortable voting on a verbal quote.
I'd ask you to stay with vote until I got the particular point for you to look at. But the reality is that, according to this proposal, it removes the functions that we're already doing from everybody.
Hmm.
Right, subject to goal.
So would you like to make a motion?
I motion to approve the no hassle accounting proposal not to exceed the 2,475 based off of what was saying. I believe they said ask additional services at 120 per an hour. With I believe that it's 5 hours per week. That's what's quoted here in the proposal. Do I have
Is there a second? I second.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed? 2 opposed. Motion passes 4 in favor, 2 opposed.
But just a follow-on question. Would they be, if the Dropbox is the prudent way to go, except for the extraneous checks,
Mhm.
no hassle, you would be able to do that? I'm
Yeah.
assuming yes.
They have that.
You know, you're charged to us. And I think for some reason I missed all the meetings, but I don't think everybody got their stuff in, so we could meet with all. To arbitrarily choose one person whose proposal is available within our package. And we know that at least 2 other people that have presented proposals that we didn't get in there fast enough. That may be better. I think that that's a little irrational, to put it off another month and not interfere with our setting up at the beginning of the year, and I think we're planning on starting.
In addition, I've requested that we wait till we get through the audit before we make the transition, whether we decide on it or not. Can't begin with anything.
I understand, you guys see what you're saying, but the motion was voted on and passed. We, at this point, now it's a point where we must continue.
The next item is
And make
sandpaper.
an objection.
Okay.
I'm strongly suggest, I would make a motion that we postpone one more month. To get all the proposals in that we supposedly have on the way, so we can make it conscious, solid. Selection of basically 3 companies we're looking at.
If you want to set a date, I should have my other written one tomorrow. Well, the reality is that I still think the transition can't be made until the audit is done with the audit.
No, we're happy.
I can't guarantee you, he's asking for some additional information that he's working on.
It
Maybe next week.
It should be done by the 15th.
John, I appreciate your concern, I really do. And I wanted to make this the most informed decision I can, based on as many vendors as we could get. Based on the criteria that we were looking for. And just the bottom line is that we don't have it. I've been waiting for these quotes for months. I've been hearing that Sean has 8 contractors he's talking to.
You know, I don't work for you, right?
I know,
volunteer.
yes, sir. I'm addressing your concern. And I feel,
Don't get pissed off at me.
I'm not, no, not at all. Please don't confuse my desire to move this issue forward with anger for you.
At the moment, what advantage to push this through is there for anyone? at the moment?
What is the advantage?
Yes,
Well, let's just have volunteers that can take care of the food. And let's have volunteers.
No, I'm talking about this item, not an example of something else.
Talking about picking an accounting firm that's gonna handle all of our accounting. Hopefully for the rest of the time that we're involved with it.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, we're talking about picking an accounting firm. That if they do things right and we work it right with them. And right now, there's enough difference between 2,000, 4,000, and 6,000. That I'm not sure they're all bidding on the same thing yet, because we haven't gotten all the proposals to look at. And if it works and we get it into place, we may never have to try to get another accounting firm for years. But if we mess it up, we gotta go through all this stuff again and do it differently. And from my experience, the low bidder may be the right bidder, but generally, the high bidder's not, the low bidder's not, and over the middle is gonna be pretty close to being wrong. But we need to verify that that's the case. And the treasurer doesn't feel like we can get started on it until the audit gets completed, and that sounds like it's gonna be mid-October, which is when it's due. So if we postpone one more month, get all the input, this stuff done, then we'll be able to give you a much better, more informed, choice of how we came up with our conclusions, and why we really did not do it.
Well,
So an arbitrary choosing to go ahead and shut it down, when we know we've got at least two others out there that are viable, I
well,
think is irrational.
well, we need a motion. At this point, it's a pass motion, so to make it, any changes has to have a motion.
Well,
I just
John,
made a-
Just a minute.
Okay, so a motion to object and table is on the floor then.
It's not to table, it's a motion to
Postpone.
postpone.
Motion, okay, motion to
So,
postpone.
motion. Yeah,
Yes,
I'll let you word your.
Well, that's real, I was just saying, instead, we don't have enough information on the whole thing. And we can let you down. But we're so close, like a week or two away, plus we're 2 weeks away from getting the final numbers that the treasurer feels. Feel comfortable with beginning the transition. So if we postpone to our next board meeting, we'll have a couple of things in place, we'll have an audit complete. We'll have an opportunity to look at all three of them and stack them side by side to be sure we're sure what we're gonna get. And that we're getting this value, and then begin to start making the transition.
Some of the problem we had with our bookkeeping this past year, just to let you know, is making a bigger transition.
So to continue, I'm happy to continue this discussion. John made a motion.
To postpone the bookkeeping to next month.
Yes.
Is there a second for Don's motion?
second,
All right, discussion.
okay, now you can bring up this one second.
Making a transition mid-year is what caused much of our problem with the bookkeeping this past year. I don't recommend doing it. I'm just gonna tell you that straight out, I'm pretty John, I probably support that. It took us months to get the data straightened out and all kinds of time to down where they are. And even now, I'm hunting for things, but I can't get the auditor. Just saying.
I don't see that as an issue of not moving forward with picking a thing, but I feel comfortable with where we're at unless there's a, you know, you're seeing something, I mean, the proposal sounds like it's more, not less. I'm not sure how much more we want to wait. I think we're better moving forward sooner than that. So,
I mean, John makes a strong point, you know, you know, going into this meeting, I was coming in with only one because I thought that was the only one we had. So we did have some late arrivals. What does it hurt to wait 30 days? Finish the audit and then proceed with the transition? I don't know, I mean, it's a reasoned argument.
What do you think?
My only thing is this can turn into the security thing again. So we just keep going on and going on. And I get what he's saying. But we did this with security for months and months and months and months and months and months.
Actually, this is a different issue.
I
With
get,
the security, we didn't have any real firm direction. where we're
Right.
gonna go
but
here.
we always seem to put things off all the time. So what's gonna happen after 30 days? If this doesn't happen after 30 days, we get another 30 days. And another 30 days. Yeah, I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
well, we should have had a written proposal by now. I mean, I think that's a fair request.
I mean, how do we lock this down if this doesn't happen within 30 days? What do we do then?
So, I don't see any reason why we couldn't have it done before the date, so be ready for you guys to look at it. You know, and our recommendation will be included. You know, we've already got the proposals on the way. We need to sit down and verify what they're doing and what they're charging us for and how they're gonna do it. And, so.
Can I make a
see.
suggestion? I'm sorry. Suspend the vote that was made to hire Newcastle for 15 days. Give Sean the opportunity to get who he says he has. To meet with Johnny and do that, propose to send it out to the board. And then at that point, by the first of the month, we'll have a decision made.
Right, we could make this a provisional approval
Exactly.
for no hassle
Okay.
pending the final review of the incoming results,
Okay.
right? And then
If
that would,
there's nothing further, so 15 days, you think that's a reasonable time that we can come back with something?
If he's already had the people that he's contacted, if you guys can meet, do a Zoom call or whatever. If you need me there, I can see if I can do that.
I will do what recommended, because I feel strongly that we're not ready to make a decision yet.
Well, that's why if we give it
And,
15 days, you
one
think
thing
that,
I have going is I have to push up time. So.
oh, that's right, you're busy too.
So having it ready by the next board meeting, which is actually 4 weeks away as opposed to 15 days. Doesn't seem unreasonable.
No?
That gives the opportunity to get the audit completed.
I think it's reasonable.
I would accept that we push this off to the 12th. I'm not willing to accept pushing it on for anybody.
So. So right now we have a motion. Do we want? Do we want?
Take a vote.
The date,
We have, no?
the date. What is your motion?
Yeah, you
He
didn't,
said to the next board meeting, that was his motion.
well, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
He said push it off. He didn't specifically say when in his initial motion, or I didn't, so maybe he didn't.
I was sent. I don't.
How do you-
know exactly the all machinations that are going on? But basically what I said was, you need one more month. Which is to the next board meeting. To get everything in place. We should have everything done before then, because it's gonna go out in the board packet, so that people get to look at it. And, that gives us time to finish the audit, so you'll be able to look at that as well.
And I think that somewhat addresses, I mean, if you make it provisional approval and no other bids materialize, then there's actually no need to vote at the next board, unless another suggestion comes up. No hassle's been approved, and I think that addresses Will's concern that it's just going to pass along, so we're approving no hassle.
But that's not
But
what he,
awaiting as any additional ones that could be measured against it, then there's a legitimate. But recommendation, then would be discussed at the next board. If no other proposals come in. Then it's de facto, it's accepted as of the next board. And that addresses Will's concern of.
Well, and Will's concern, for us, the absolute drop date is sometime in December. When we need to.
If we're going to transition next year.
The transition, because we want it to be operational on the first of the year.
Right.
So what we do within the next 3 months are important. Not only select the right firm, but we're gonna begin to do other stuff, because we've already got the year taken care of till December 31st. So I understand your concern. I understand. We have a tendency to put things off for a long time, but I feel strongly enough that this could be a real screw up if we get the right, for the wrong company.
so just to clarify, your motion is to postpone the bookkeeping decision until next meeting. But are you saying that we should defact to the current past motion? I'm trying to clarify that.
Well, I'm not sure what's right on the Robert's Rule of Order.
Well, I
you
just want
already-
to
if you
clarify the
already-
motion.
If you already made a motion and passed it,
Mhm.
then my motion is to go back and reconsider the motion.
Okay,
And reconsider and.
So-
Next board meeting.
okay, so right now I have it as postponing this bookkeeping decision until next HOA meeting.
That sounds right.
Okay. I guess we can vote when,
But I modified that. I don't know if that's appropriate with Robert's rules.
no, you can't modify his motion. You have to have,
You would have
he
to
he motioned, you second that motion. If
You
you,
would have to do another.
there would have to be another motion that would have to get
I
seconded.
can't buy it. Couple of words for John.
So we,
You know what I'm saying is, but I
Yes, that's
think
fine.
if no other proposals come.
We can vote on John's.
Okay.
If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't, you
Then
can
I
make your
another
motion.
Okay, I'll do that. I will probably make another motion.
All in favor of John's motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed to John's motion, say.
nay.
So 4 opposed, 2 in favor.
And not to be difficult, but I will, go ahead.
And it saves me
So
I-
now,
I will make a motion saying that I think John's proposal is good with the proviso that if no viable proposals come in, that the default option is no hassle has been approved. So if there's nothing to compete with it, then we don't have to revote again in October. No hassle will take over. And we'll establish a transition period at that time based on recommendations. So that, I think that covers both groups, and I think it's a compromise. That open for additional ones, but no additional ones, we proceed with no hassle. So I don't know that wording that you want. The motion is. No hassle is provisionally accepted. Pending and will be reviewed pending additional legitimate proposals, written formal proposals. If not, then no hassle will be awarded the contract and transition planning will begin immediately. Is that,
Basically, I'm saying no hassle, it will be approved if.
is that,
No other.
I mean, we were the voted block, but I'm the swing vote, but I think that covers both sides of the discussion.
I'll second that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor of, did you want to read it back or just? I didn't understand the motion.
Yes.
Yes, I'm,
Simple motion, just-
I haven't fully written it out, but it will be worded to his satisfaction.
John seconded it. Okay,
Okay, John.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
See, this goes compromising government.
It was just way too many words and thoughts.
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't yours, it was your comment.
Yeah, I know, it was, but I think we've nailed it down.
Yes.
We have a plan forward, but an open for adjustment. Is that, I think that meets everybody.
All right, the next
Professional
one,
consult.
the Sagewood mulch complete, is this just an update?
Yeah, because there's a duplicate. We got this twice. Yeah.
It's under it's listed under the master on the agenda, is that incorrect?
That's incorrect. That's right.
Okay.
So we have money to do this. Ready to go, right?
So is this done or are we motioning this?
I think they was gonna table.
You said that there was, I got, in the packet, I got two things, and it's a duplicate.
There's one to remove and one to. So it's $20,000 to.
This
install it
says
and 35.
mulch for 15, this says mulch installation.
It was a mistake on my part. I'm sorry.
Okay, good, I'm looking at the same thing.
The two are duplicates, it's the same thing. Right. Okay. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
15, 16.
Okay.
All right, so the motion is to approve 2,128 cubic foot bags of mulch in Sagewood for $15,600. Is there a second? We will move to discussion.
Okay, well, I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the mulch for Sagewood?
In their budget, right?
Yeah, total of 41,175 to remove and replace, yes.
So they've already removed it, if I remember.
That's the
So this is just the installation.
Completing a project that is in the budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Mulch carries.
On page 70, there's a maple tree in Sagewood that needs to be replaced also.
And what happened to this maple tree?
It has just died. You can't see it because the printer's not working.
Oh, no, I see the tree, why did the poor little tree die?
It looks like it was damaged from some kind of, whether it was from a trash can being rubbed up against it, but it wasn't water. It was water, but it has decay all in here.
Okay.
And
and
that
that's the
is,
same tree that they replaced twice before.
I was gonna say, it looks like it's been recut. So is Is it decayed or is it, like, fungus or something?
It's decayed, but it looks like it was. I wish I had a better picture.
I didn't think of the address.
We need a motion and second and then discussion.
I motion to replace the tree.
A second.
All right, any discussion on the tree?
We have-
Dead, and we need to replace it. And it's probably in their budget for.
We don't have funding for this month.
Right now, this show, we're starting to get to a deficit point for this year this is stage, it's still correct.
Yes,
Okay, so we're now showing 13,000 in deficit for stage, but we were at a positive number until we started doing the mulching circuit.
so this needs to be put on hold.
Can we put on that,
Can't take it there.
next year's budget?
No, you have to put trees there.
No, we can take it down now.
We can take it out and wait.
It's spring, come back.
I see, remove the dead tree. I mean,
I don't have anything else pending,
Provided
that's
by the
everything else is already good, the contract, don't have to do.
Right, so that's my question, is it's a cash flow problem at this point,
It is.
Right,
right? So
is this a next month problem or a next year problem?
Like I said, the end of the year, the projection at this point is a negative $14,000.
Okay, so it's the next year.
Until we get the mulch, we were having a positive number.
so
Okay,
should we not
so
do the mulch?
the motion was to replace the tree. Keep in mind what you're voting on, and it was seconded. All in favor of replacing the tree, say aye. All opposed to replacing the tree, say, what do you say?
nay,
Nay.
Nah,
All right, we're not replacing the tree. Next item, is it pressure washing? I think we skipped pressure washing. I didn't see a bid for that. Or is it just complete? Is that an
That's
update?
just complete.
Okay, so pressure washing is complete. If it says complete, it's not. All right. Oh, okay, so I see there's an indent here going. Sandpiper mulch complete, that's what that was. All right, now we're in paired villas. Sunrise landscaping, mulch removal has begun to be removed by Sunrise, and on Saturday is almost complete, so this is just an update. New controllers, the first trial, and we briefed this, and we talked about this already. So is there any items in PV to vote on? It doesn't look like it.
we've taken credit.
All right. Westlake. Westlake proposals, there's a Ballinger proposal for $50,530.
And that's the one that Sean spoke about earlier.
And this is the one that we want.
It's pending a special assessment meeting of the community, right?
Or unless they strike oil.
Then they're gonna move to Beverly Hills, right? We're showing our
Okay,
age.
so we'll just
yes, you are.
motion to table the Ballinger irrigation proposal.
We don't even need. that.
Seconded.
Don't even need it.
It's just with FYI.
Oh.
I just wanna keep the
No
vote.
motion needed, moving on.
I'm gonna vote
Okay.
on the numbers.
All right, and then there is a Westlake mulch installation and removal. The installation is for $4,225.
And
The-
removal is 5 for a total. 9,612.
Is that in your annual maintenance budget and is a cash flow support?
Those budgeted in Michelle, at this point, jump to that page. I believe I've already accounted for this in our numbers, so I'm pretty sure we're okay. Out of any numbers, yes.
Motion to approve the mulch, both of them.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed to Westlake mulch? None opposed. All right.
Who would oppose mulch in Westlake?
It'll be the first time I've had it.
The first time.
All right, so we have some old business. There is the architectural guidelines that we are going to, so before we start discussion, motion is to approve the architectural guidelines with one edit. I'm going to change the mailbox appendix because one of the residents pointed out that it says gold flags on mailboxes and nobody has gold flags, they're all black. So I need to edit that page. Thank you to the resident that pointed out. Is there a second? So we can move to discussion.
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
You're the art guy. It's so complex, my brain melts every time I talk about it. So do you have any objections to it?
I do know.
Right.
I did see a very emphatic hand shoot up in the back from the audience. Wow.
Yeah, but the audience participation is until later.
Until after the discussion,
What's that?
until after the discussion.
Yes.
Okay. So we
So
want to,
pending any negative votes from anybody here, I see the least do not proceed.
Okay, so it's been seconded.
second,
Yeah.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed.
We don't have to talk about that for a while.
Okay,
I like all, it's good to have.
and then old business is the
Delegates?
delegates. It just says delegates on the agenda.
Yeah, just it's all business that's on hold, right?
That's all.
On hold.
I was still on hold with that, because it was such.
Because we have no plan forward.
Yeah.
We have no plan forward, so there's nothing to vote on,
I think we
and we're already at,
need to get together and talk about it.
Yeah.
That's very
that would
important.
be, I think that's,
Schools to talk about it.
I think it's a special meeting. We're going to-
Okay,
A special meeting just for that. I agree with him this month.
just a reminder, we did skip past the entertainment room. I'm not sure if this is no longer in budget, but
We're going back, thank you.
I just wanted to
Thank you.
remind
That's good.
that we did say we would go back after we go through all the
We
items.
went through everything.
I think the same question has, is it in the budget and is it affordable? I mean, if the cash flow covered. I think the answer to that, both those is yes, but I just want to confirm it.
Like I said earlier, there's $53,000 left that you could serve the security budget at the moment, with this included.
With this included, so it's a minimal impact on the security budget. And we would be able to get a the ability to support community events. If that is interesting in it.
The amount of equipment right now is $7,081.31. Do you want to set a ceiling and then make a motion?
Let me clarify, you're okay spending the $7,000 for the projector and everything out of the security budget?
No, well,
If we don't spend it, it goes back.
that amount of money, this item is not coming against them.
That's,
All of the items we dealt, you could say that the mulch and point X is coming out of that budget.
Okay.
So if you're saying, oh, this is gonna come out of the security budget, no, we have to go back to these other things and say, well, no. None of those would approach that.
So,
The net result is all of the spending we've done has degraded the security budget, except the $1,800 that's gonna go against it, so it's 53,000 plus $1,800.
$7,000.
You're missing my point. All of these things have impinged on the security budget, not the specific item.
I don't understand.
I'm
Okay, let me
sorry,
say it one more time.
okay,
If you're saying, if we buy this equipment, we're at $53,000. If we don't, we're at 62,000. That's, I'm saying that's not the way to approach it. We have to go back to every single item and say, if we spend this item, it's going to encroach upon the security budget. The overall proposals and everything we spent money on, not the $7,800, is what's having that impact. So all of these improvements to the community, all of them will affect the security budget by $9,000. I think that's reasonable. That's my own perspective, but don't put this $7,800 and say that's what's doing it.
Another way to look at it, Matt, is that we haven't approached it until we spend it.
So then let's go back and then I'm gonna make a motion to say we go back and start talking about every single item, saying we only will discuss this in group and decide if all of these items will affect it. It's not reasonable to then say, oh, we get to the last one and say we won't affect it. If that's the case, then let's stop, but let's not spend another penny in for the rest of the year. Right? Or will we have more cash flow money that we can pay for this next month? That's my next question.
This is all for the end of the year, this time, we're blowing through money, it's gonna,
May
so
I?
it's gonna get paid next month. and
And
that.
then I,
May I? we're not gonna host a movie night this month. I think we all agree there.
Yes,
I motion to table this item until next month.
Seconded.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One thing.
Just for clarification, we have the cameras that we approved and. the-
Yes.
Cameras approved, that we approved the.
But it's gonna take that out of the security budget because it's a security item.
There's one other item on here,
That's
is a
ridiculous.
game room TV.
We did
And we
not
can go back and
discuss
probably
the
have other
TV.
expenses that we could then allocate.
The battery for the,
No,
Yes, we passed the,
We've already passed. it.
that's what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's finish this.
Everything on that page has been approved except the.
Game rooms are-
Yeah, game room.
Kids
Right.
and the projector.
How much?
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
Okay, but just, I hope you understand, conceptually, everything we spent affected the budget. Just to take those items out is unfair because it was not considered. None of the others were considered on, we are going to have to encroach if we
Okay.
I'm
continue.
talking about TVs.
I might have preferred the electronic equipment over,
Are we
One
gonna
of
take
those.
TV?
And we need to, TV.
but that was not the discussion or how we talked about it.
I'm not
That's my point.
Disagreeing.
Okay, so we tabled, check, are we're tabling the TV?
Hold on, do we? So this item, the one other item we didn't get to is the game room TV. The game room, those don't know, is the pool tables and foosball table out there.
Question is, why do they need it to do that?
It's more for, to be able to send messages, so we'll have this one over here and then one in the game room. Just to be able to have the messages of what's available, what's happening in the community.
Well, I don't have the money in front of me, I just stacked my stuff, but my feeling is if we can wait a month for the. The entertainment equipment, this is a significant bill, isn't it? It's like, gotta hang it and pay it.
14, 14.
1,400.
Do you want a motion to table it?
I motion to table it.
Second.
All in favor of tabling to next month? Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay,
Alright.
that's it. Resident input.
I'll keep them by the-
Please come closer,
You come right up here.
so the Zoom can hear you.
I just have, one comment about the IT company. Whatever the board wants to do is fine. If it's timing, great. Just make sure that you have contingency put in case hit by a blast or leave, because the vendors will have root projections or have polio or nets. Or should just make plans to have copies locally, because again, people get destroyed and leave, hit by a bus or lightning. The other thing I'd recommend is, since we're using that polio a lot more, you probably pay somebody to pen test the act or have them give us their pen test report. How secure are they? Because they've had so much,
Yeah.
bank accounts, phone numbers, email addresses, they get owned. We should have confidence that they're a secure company to business. And I've worked in cybersecurity and IT for 25 years. So that's absolutely, you should at least look into that.
That's great input, thank you, and I feel like I see the start of an IT committee here.
I don't know, but the thing of it is, you get two engineers and we're all right, gotta do everything.
Well, that's good. We
What was all about?
Do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Yeah, it's good,
Just,
good.
you know, since, you know, Sean has the most experience in, you know, of all the board members, we just kind of get it in front of the board, just these things to think about. Contracting an IT company, you know, protecting the association. And, you know, looking at just our vendors, right, our vendor security, because we're doing more stuff online. SaaS solutions are, you know, are they protected? Because we're putting our confidential information there.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
Very good point.
And I agree. It's the nascent IT committee.
So you brought up the info on us getting hit by a bus, Tommy. Did you put together a manual with all the past roads and
real simple, you have access to LastPass.
Mhm.
All. Everything anyone would ever need is already accessible by at least another part. And that, as well. You never use LastPass, no exception. I have every account in there, every piece of equipment in there, all detailed out, access to how to get to that.
Do you know LastPass?
Yes, and also, so, not to be compare, this before or after the breach.
This, that.
Okay.
But before the next one.
And.
Security is gonna lose.
I do not, that's, that's not. But.
Tommy, you're exceeding your 3 minutes. Are you done?
No,
No, that wasn't his.
that wasn't my.
Then you have to buy 3 more minutes.
that was my question. I'm sorry, he could have a 3 minutes.
Okay.
You can have 30 seconds.
Because it was my question to him.
Okay.
I have, just one piece of advice to help me earlier, hopefully helps you guys in the future, and then I have a question. My piece of advice is this, it'll help you keep the talking down. When you have something, lay it out. We do this in IT all the time, start to finish. You talk about a Dropbox with bank checks, great, play it out. How do you get that from the box into that folder? Play that out in 30 seconds and have your answers to this question. We were talking about plugging in and unplugging, play out a service ticket. Jennifer, you get a service ticket in, you give it to Valen. Valen, they're gonna trip GFIs and stuff, play out how it gets resolved. The other one is just, okay, if I am attending as IT, did we say that I am standing up as IT earlier?
Yes.
Okay, did we give you a budget at all? Expenditure?
We were gonna
I
talk
think you
about.
said 50 to 75 cents per. item.
Going back. Where is the motion? Yeah, 500. The spending amount was 500.
Okay, that's 500, 200.
With Patty's approval.
That's fine. You understand, there's some common sense stuff that I do on a week, right? If I'm here and I gotta fix something and I gotta go spend $80 on those and spending $80 for those and pretty heavy. She could say, I don't know how much she would. Golf cart batteries, you know, I might be doing stuff other than IT, so I agree, if you wanna hand you up on some sort of old harmless phone, it doesn't have to be limited to IT. Working on the gym code, getting a post in the ground, cool, put up a sign. Just a stand. But anyway. Whatever. Thank you.
Any other resident input?
Yes. Perfect, it's, has $500. You guys, last year, if you recall, rescinded all spending authority. That was never changed. So, at those,
I think it.
That was up until last year, right? Until the budget.
August.
last, nice.
Mhm.
As of right now, your spending authority as of August 5th last year. Motion was made by Mark to rescind all spending policy and was seconded by Tommy. The president called for a vote. All were in favor, none were opposed. The president stated that the motion carried, followed by a motion was made by Tommy to allow spending of $500 months for maintenance and operating costs with all items submitted to HOA board and approved by HOA treasurer. Motion by Johanna. President called for vote, all in favor, and none opposed. Motion carried. Right now, nobody has any spending authorities. So,
Well, that's not technically correct because we motioned for particular things like the festival and spending things which were approved. And there was motions.
Spending authority outside of those approvals.
He's talking about those have been approved outside of the 500.
So what's the item?
So basically, common spending authority, as of right now, is basically your entire thing. So like if you had something for the social budget that you wanted to do, you couldn't do that.
She said an individual spending authority.
No. If you recall, your motion last year rescinded all authority. The board had it approved, all spending authority was rescinded.
But that was because of we didn't know how much money was in it.
But that-
Okay, so can we make a motion?
Never, I agree with Jason 100%, except for one thing. Since then, the only spending authority we did get, so it's still the committee and $2,000.
No, there has never been a motion. We happen to go through the minutes. There has never been a motion approved.
Go through them again.
I did think we did. I have a memory of that, but
Technically, I think we did. I don't know if there's an error in the minutes.
But to keep the conversation short.
So this sounds like an
What Jason said,
administrative.
100%
that needs to be
correct.
fixed.
We all need to make motions, again, and technically can't micro. I told you this, we'll bring it up to that. We need to bring back spending.
Okay, so motion to
yeah, go ahead. I have another.
was that an August motion?
No.
Thank you for pointing this out. It's an administrative thing that we need to correct. Thank you.
One other thing is the fact that according to bylaws. You guys need to appoint the president.
Yeah, I was just gonna do that. It was on my notes and I forgot to do it. So thank you for reminding me. Actually, I remembered before you said that. That's what I said. No. So I do have a motion.
Okay.
I think the board should elect the president. The vice president's, acts as the president when the president's not available, but the president's resign. So I would make a motion, and my motion is that the board votes and approves Mark as the president, but I think the board should make that decision. And if not Mark, then somebody else, but I'm nominating Mark in my motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. I'm not gonna vote. All opposed.
I want to nominate Matt.
I'm sorry, what?
I nominate Matt.
So you're opposed to the amendment. Oh wait, so how do we do this?
No, we have to,
Do we have to have a vote?
Second,
So we vote for him or you vote for me?
no, that motion.
well, the motion at the.
I said a motion to be a president, and then I nominated him.
The
That's
motion,
right.
So nominations are on the floor, basically.
It's a
Right.
nomination on the floor is what it is.
That's what she said.
to appoint, and then I second that motion to appoint
Mark,
Mark. So that, doesn't that motion then go to the table?
then it goes to discussion. Yeah.
Then it goes to discussion and then we can vote.
So she would,
Discussion of this.
Well, actually,
she wants to nominate me.
Okay.
So then I guess the vote would be vote on,
well,
it would be a vote on the two of us.
Does anybody else want to nominate anyone else or nominate themselves?
do you want to become president?
I think that's relevant. She voted, we nominated her.
No.
Well, look,
I have
That's
to
the-
accept the nomination.
Yeah, that's the question. I just asked you, that's right.
I'd rather not be president, so.
Well.
Okay.
All right, given that information, I think I'm ready to go to the vote.
Does anybody else want to be president?
He's looking at me.
Okay, well,
All right,
I think,
Mac's motion was to approve me as
Mhm.
president. Johan seconded.
yes.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
Have any others? You didn't have to
Motion
thank you.
carries. And it's only, I understand, I appreciate it, thank you. I will still continue doing my job, even if you said no, and I stayed the vice president, and we didn't have a president, I still work just as hard.
So why don't we make Matt the vice president?
Well,
We do need a vice president.
We do.
question is, can I, do you want to be the vice president?
I would serve as vice president if necessary. If there's somebody else who would like to do it, I'm fine to die.
I motion Mac to be my vice president.
All right, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed?
The joke. These are reflex actions.
Okay, the one thing we need to vote on still is what Jason brought up. So motion to rescind the
Well,
August.
wait. Can you
Yes,
do
ma'am.
one more thing. I still would like to have 7 members, voting members on this board. And I would like to move to make Sean a voting member to the board. So that we have an odd number and we don't have.
So you're motioning, so we
Yes.
need a second.
You're counting, why are you counting?
I'm just,
There's only 6 directors.
There's only 6. So we have an
so
even
we
number.
can actually, as a board, vote. I thought that had to be voted.
You can appoint.
So-
it's on the-
Hang on, so can I make a comment?
From director
I
to
think
an election.
The non-motion should be, would be to say, we need to add a member to the board.
Oh.
Right? And that should be the motion, that should be second. And then the discussion is who, because I'm sensitive to that, and this has nothing to do with Sean. Is we should then think about, are there other people in the community? Should we notify the community that we have an open
Correct.
seat on the board? Would someone like to step up? And that way, because frankly, there is an organization in this area that fills positions on their board, but never, ever advertises it. And I think if we're bringing another board member on, we should at least allow people to volunteer. That would be, so I agree with adding the 7, but I think we should not just select from within the group. We should give it a couple of weeks to advertise to say,
Oh, gonna be an election
when's the election?
next month.
In a couple of weeks.
In
Yeah.
a couple of weeks.
The
But
board
that's
will
for
be
next
filled
year.
at that point.
Well,
I think
does,
it's, I've got to figure out,
do they serve until the end of the year or do they serve
End of the
until?
year.
And just the end of the
End of the
year,
year, yeah.
so it's only.
So you have 2 people that are,
Right, they run for the election if they want.
but then you still have the 2 people that do wanna, that have already put in, yep.
Well, if we have 2 people, they could be considered. I think, well, I would, if we're gonna open the thing up and add a member, I think we should allow people to be considered.
Even if
That-
it's a week, we're not gonna make a decision within the next week. But unless there's an emergency.
We have to mail one.
No, I think it can just be a posting.
Because it's not a member's election.
It's no
It's not
point.
necessary to do that.
You know, we
It's
can,
just giving people an opportunity if they want. If one of those 2 people comes up and says, yes, then. And then Sean says, I would like to be, then he's one of the volunteers. I
So we
didn't
can
mean
put
to
them at
short
50
circuit it, but
people that ask.
just, I'm sensitive to it because I've seen it within the region. And I think it's a nice gesture to reach out and ask. And if nobody shows up.
okay,
make that decision.
so,
So would you like me to reword my motion?
I would politely ask, yes.
You can.
Hmm?
Politely,
so is there a town on this,
I would say,
give them, 14 days notice or something?
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll have it, we had the election already. It's,
Yeah,
have
I
a
think a
vote,
week.
it's relatively overlap for the year. I mean, there'll be 2 more meetings after that.
yeah, well, they might be on the board, don't be elected, then.
I would think that they would have anticipated this happening when it was in March or in November. There's been a process for filling an open.
no, I think George said it, it's basically up, we don't have to,
No.
and we can. But I think the board just votes if the person is.
So, yeah,
Appoint, yeah.
I'm just saying, whether we choose to have one or not. If we choose to have one, there is a process, I would suspect, that says to fill the position, you have to advertise it for X number of weeks and have a general vote or something like that.
No, it's not an appointment.
It's an
It's-
appointment.
Well,
it's,
just from past, because I've gone through this a couple of times. They did go through and send it out and advertise, but the whole process of it, they just kind of selected, from those people. It was an appointment, and you were told that that appointment, the term of how long that lasts is, and that's.
So in the bylaws, it should say, the existing board members can appoint them.
Correct.
That's pretty much the word.
You,
Is
yes,
that what it says?
Yes.
Or is that how you feel it should be?
No,
I
I'm
read
Just
it
saying
today
that's
before
what
we came
George
in.
said.
The board has
it
the
is
option to have
appointment.
between 3 and 7 members. It doesn't mean any.
Yeah, remaining director, declare vacancy and appoint a successor to fill the vacancy until the next annual meeting.
I think if we put it out and no one comes up within a week, let's just. We could probably do that as an electronic vote. Right, we could just electronically vote it. It could be-
No, we can't vote up.
We can't vote electronically.
It's a board meeting. That's a big board meeting.
Right, so what day is everybody gonna be here in the next, or quorum's gonna be
Candidate
here?
statement.
The rate we're
Ten.
going, we
October
can give
10.
them that. So-
I know,
Uh,
but we know are we having a budget meeting?
Yep, Tuesday.
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 But then next.
Two
then
days.
I just want.
and not
That's all right, so we
everybody
can just
attends.
go out for 4 days then. What?
And not everybody attends. He's got a new job and he works.
yeah,
But we have a quorum, 4 out of 6 is still a quorum, right? If the 4 of us are gonna be there.
Definitely 100% not be here in town. And I don't even know if I can even zoom.
And one
because
person
it's,
can't even vote in, it has to be present.
I mean,
Make sure all the new equipment.
I'm gonna be running that day. I'm working the game that day. I gotta be at work at 1, I'll probably get home till midnight.
I would prefer to do next board meetings, but that's my
We could
preference.
give,
Yeah, that's actually.
we could give the community 2 weeks to step forward and say, I want to be on the board. I mean, it's only an appointment until the end.
Yeah, it's like a 2-month point. If somebody is,
It's to the end of the year when the transition happens.
What does it say? You read it out loud. It says appoint until the next
Next
annual
annual
meeting. So the appointment will be until the end of the next. annual
So in
meeting.
that case, are we assuming that the election replaces us at that moment? Yes. Okay, so I want
I'm sorry?
it. If the assumption is that at that meeting, there's not gonna be no allowed to have the end of the year, right?
right, exactly, we're talking 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right?
Well,
I mean, if we're gonna do it, I think we gotta, I agree with Mac. It'd be nice to have 7 people on board. I agree with Mac that if we just start replacing people inside, it kind of looks like nepotism.
yeah, I prefer to do it more formally. And I think if we have volunteers, I think we should, that want to be on the board, we should reach out to them.
But when is the election again? I just want to clarify, so the next,
It isn't it in November?
Annual meeting.
the annual meeting is in November.
Yes,
So it's just the next board, it's, whoever are doing it is just for the October meeting.
I can't.
November.
The annual meeting is in November.
But the new board not take effect until January.
but it would be a great way to.
But the way the wording says is, that the way the wording says is it's only good till the next board meeting, and then they're
Not
not.
board meeting.
Oh,
Annual meeting, the annual meeting, which is in November,
right.
so it's really just for next
One
meeting.
But,
I think.
I mean,
we should make a decision.
we would be meeting the person.
Okay, I withdraw my reservation.
Okay.
It was an anti-Sean reservation, it
He's
was.
gonna be here because of the next couple of months. anyway, so-
Got it.
Okay,
Fine.
I still think, I've had, I know
I never was.
people are interested, I still think we get 2 weeks notice.
All right.
I said. that was
But
my-
even so, that seems silly. They only
Are
have
you willing to do
2
that?
weeks as a point, it doesn't. By the time they catch up to speed, it's all.
It's 6 weeks.
Yeah, well,
well, we're gonna
Are
get,
you willing to do it?
I am, but there's some of it's that they don't agree with it.
You know, take the vote.
I mean, okay. Well, was it seconded?
John seconded.
Okay. Motion, well, let's clarify, is the motion to add, Sean?
Sean,
We are appointing him. The
yeah,
board is appointing him.
is now a voting
to
member.
replace the vacancy.
Okay, I guess we get. I still. I'm not in favor of that.
You get to vote.
Okay, well,
All in favor,
I,
all opposed.
nay,
Still need to,
okay, so that 3,
not saying nothing against him, but if you
Not
do
gonna be
this,
either way.
it's gonna,
And then pass, you have 3 against 3 anyway.
He voted no.
yeah.
It doesn't pass.
He voted
Not
no.
voted yes, but 3 voted no. Give it just fine.
Okay.
2 weeks?
No,
Are we
notice that.
done?
That's the
Oh,
whole
no,
way
I'm
it's
sorry,
going.
I interrupted, not earlier, but we had one more thing.
Oh, it was just the thing that Jason brought up.
Okay, yes, go ahead, motion.
Motion to rescind the August $500 spending limit.
Well, what is going to be the element then? What are we changing it to?
Should have been.
Additionally, wherever involved in an organization like this, $1,000 is. Anything over $1,000 has to be.
How much do we spend on toilet paper?
Jason?
Remember, there's high budgets, so make sure you understand that $1,000 for the Westlake budget, which is a 50th of our whole year, is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, can we say $1,000 associated with master and the others are at 500?
So who are we giving the authority to? All of us?
Patty, isn't it?
Patty.
Isn't it?
The
President and
spending
Pat.
limit is on camp and
Right, can't, right?
Is that,
So what are your thoughts?
Is that a reasonable amount if
Again,
something
it's
come
that
up?
per transaction.
Yeah, because of what we order monthly for toilet paper.
Gym
Still on
wipes,
camera.
you know,
So
paper
How much
towels,
is
yeah.
it? $1,000? I mean, it's $1,000.
Amazon.
So basically, if you get technically to do
Say
it.
per transaction.
I think it was per
Right.
event. That's what it was.
the,
It was
Spend a
$500
whole lot of money on
limit?
$1,000 per event.
Prior,
Well,
the prior authorization is $1,500 for the president and a board.
With the maths.
okay, so do we want to put it with? Do we putting this just, okay, so you have rescind the August spending limit and you want to set the new one?
Well, I guess we define the August spending limit, because maybe $500 per event is okay. $500 per
What
thing.
defines an event?
Yeah, this is very vague, isn't it?
It is.
It is. That's why
We changed it last time.
we changed it to $500 for the month.
Do we not want to rescind it?
We spend more than $500 a month on,
Yeah, we've already way blown that out of the water a minute at a time.
So this for the whole month, that was the spending of the whole month, you can only spend $500.
That's what I'm saying.
Incidental expense.
I think it's per item.
I think we need,
I think,
I
but
put it's for the month, I put
But-
by paper towel.
so what,
but you're thinking 1,000 would cover your incidental expenses.
what, 1,000?
No, we don't recognize. that.
1,000, so we wouldn't, she's saying 1,000.
Service areas if something is required.
She can spend up to $1,000 per month on incidentals, and then must go to the board for approval after that. Correct?
For 500 per service area. So if Tommy needs something over,
Yeah.
well, it's still under master.
Right, but,
Well-
you know, but your point is service area budgets are smaller, so,
Well, just ours. Everyone else's is pretty substantial compared to.
right, but
ours.
still, it's, you know, it's like, so $500, that's an incidental expense that something has to happen, somebody needs a wrench, whatever, you know. But the master is, the incidental expenses are to help run this facility, right?
I just said once, the idea isn't that they could just randomly get the planning will start coming down. The idea is when the event comes up and she needs to make a decision on something, she could just. I would even argue to say to go as high as $2,000 for emergency. Anything over 500 must be disclosed in email right away. The guys aren't wondering which. You can send an email to the board, say, hey, we have an emergency failure over here, I just want to let you know I paid $1,000, $1,200 to get this. Event.
Right, for toilet paper.
I don't think that's been an issue, though. When she's had something, she's definitely disclosed it. That's not the issue at all.
You can also do like a petty cash.
Yeah.
So do you want to do 1,000 or 2,000?
One.
1,000.
Okay, 1,000 per month, and are we doing anything for service areas?
Yeah.
Can I modify that?
500, so 500 works for me.
Okay, so I've,
Can I modify the 1,000, sorry, why don't we make it $1,000? With, you know, without anybody, because that's maintenance incidental. Up to 2,000 with presidential approval. That's right, she doesn't have to get the whole board together, but she can
Per
put
item, per month.
per month, I thought it was.
per month.
Per month,
Per month, I thought it was, right?
yes.
But if
So we're-
something comes up, a toilet bowl needs a new plunger, and it's over the $1,000, she can get you in touch with you and your absence, somebody else.
Yeah.
And but you see what I mean? That just puts the board in the loop for over 1,000. I think that's
I mean,
reasonable.
she can CC everybody else.
Of course.
Johnny, can you read the motion back page?
Rescinding the August spending limit and setting $1,000 a month from general and 5,000 per service area and at
500.
500 per month.
Sir, yeah,
I have 500 per service area. That's what I have.
Each.
you said 5,000.
I'm sorry, 500.
Yeah.
I wrote 500 per month per service area and a $2,000 month with presidential
Vice
approval
presidential approval.
or, I'll add vice presidential approval. Is anything else wanted added to that?
Is that 2,000 cash?
I can, for master,
It's wordy, but it works.
okay, well, that's what I have as. for that. I will second the motion.
Try not
All in favor?
Because the socials, spending is also rescinded.
Well, we approved though, that's, okay.
But as
Two
it's
separate
not
things.
spent
Address
freely.
this, and then we'll
Well,
talk about it.
well, how about we come back?
We'll come back to it.
Please.
I think that last month, we approved the $2,000 budget for
25.
everything for the rest of the year.
I might not have accurately put it in the minutes. That is on me.
Okay,
Well, you guys all approved it, so how is that possible?
Well, I wrote down it was
Did we-
approved,
Did we
but
vote on this?
I
We
didn't
did?
put it
Everyone Said
out.
aye? Everyone said aye for the
Yes.
current motion.
Yes.
Okay. Any
Yeah.
opposed?
I think that's good. It's reasonable.
No one's opposed.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other business? We've talked, what's the social committee thing? We've talked about this? Tommy?
Someone write up the spending approval policy, so we all look like that.
Johanna, when you send that to me, I'll work on it and I'll get back to you and how we're gonna word it.
Okay, so do we want to prepare for the social committee? We don't have to do that right this moment, are we doing a motion?
no, I think you said a spending policy for all, not just the
Should
social.
one sheet of paper that says these are the spending authorities for all.
Thank you.
And that's either approved or not.
That's what, yes, it wasn't just the social committee.
We'll take them.
We'll work
Okay.
that up and then we'll vote on the next meeting.
Yeah, okay,
Good?
all right.
Okay. Any other comments?
I move that we adjourn.
I second it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed,
Only
Adjourned?
time he doesn't say something.
No.
I voted so.
Thank you all. Nay.
Okay.